Now, Tony, you sound pretty good. That's because you have the same microphone as your dad, right? DistroTube.
My uncle, yeah.
Your uncle, yeah, sorry.
He's not my dad.
He's not your dad? Who's your dad?
Yeah.
DHH?
Richard Stallman, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I could just change it to slow and painful and save that, and then I'm already there.
Like
I don't need a I don't need to see that. Like I don't you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the reason I wish it was proprietary because then I could hate on it more. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I almost said it's proprietary. It's just garbage. It's not proprietary garbage. It's just garbage.
Uh-huh.
It's just garbage.
There it is.
It's a garbage wrapper for an Arch install. That's all it is. It's a glorified Arch install, which takes 4 minutes. For anybody who wants to install Arch with a script, they can already do that. If you want to watch my video, you can. It'll take you 10 minutes to install Arch. And then it installs like 100 programs. And then it has these defaults that are not sane. They're somebody else's. It's like going out with somebody else's wife. Like, what are you doing? And so you got all this stuff on top of already something there's no point, dude. It's just, to me, there's no point. Honestly, I can't in good faith recommend it to anybody. Like Voldemort's OS or whatever. Like, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's gonna happen when Blais creates his Omarchy video, or when Henry Misk creates his Omarchy video? What's gonna happen there? Is the relationship over, Tony?
No, man. I think because you guys are awesome. You guys are great people. So I think what will happen is you won't do that to me, right? So anyway, Link, you were about to say, is this going to become?
Yeah. Well, what is this going to become right now? Is it going to become, you guys watched the old video, 2 girls, 1. So is it going to become like 2 Nicks, 2 Nicks aficionados, one macOS user, or what?
If you're listening to this as a podcast, remember that it was originally recorded as a video. If you're not following along, you can go to my YouTube channel. My username is linkarzu. And if you want to support me to keep this podcast going, you can donate in Ko-fi. I'm going to leave a link in the description. All right, so let's get started with this chapter then.
I do want to ask you guys something real quick. I know we're kind of just ad hoc here, but do you ever feel like we over-engineer things like so much with our workflows that like, it's like when you see somebody like that guy, René something, the kernel developer, and he's using just default tmux, default VI, and he's just writing kernel code for it, and he's like a boss. And then it's me and you've got like, you guys all spent hours and hours on your setup, and it's like, what? I'm writing like PHP code for some web app, or whatever.
Yeah, we can start with that. Let's start. And if Sylvan joins, it's good, but we can start.
Should we make a Triforce, or we just keep it like this? Like a set.
Okay, yeah, we can continue. I'm just going to, edit some parts. Of course, I'll cut the beginning of it, but we can.
No, I meant like on the screen. Should we put like a Triforce image, or should we put like an image of Vimothée crying or something like that until he gets here?
Yeah, let me do that. I'm gonna do that. Well, in the meantime, hold on. Let me just do that, and then we can start. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you guys talk about something.
Well, I'm curious. I'm still curious about the German document. Like, what I want to figure out what I can learn for some German history. If you got any pointers.
I'm the worst person to talk to when it comes to these kind of things.
Yeah. Are you a normie with this?
Yeah, definitely. I am. But I have some thoughts about what you just mentioned regarding like.
Okay, let's talk about that. Yeah.
Vanilla VI instead of all these plugins and workflow engineering and setting everything up. I feel like there's definitely a point where you can over-engineer things and spend like your workflow itself becomes the source of inefficiency in your life that needs to be optimized. And but the thing is, like, nobody can just go ahead and use vanilla VI efficiently out of the box. Like, you would have to spend loads of time reading the documentation, watching tutorials or whatever to be effective at it. And I don't know if that is more efficient, or if you would spend less time doing that than simply researching how to configure an LSP in NeoVim and just work with that. You know what I mean?
100%. I just think like sometimes when I'm on servers and there's not that many files, like I don't need anything. I just VI the file. If it's like a 20-line file. I just VI. Well, I'm not going to literally use VI, but like I could Vim the file and it's pretty chill, you know? And I see this guy, René, literally doing kernel development. I don't know if it's actually VI, but it looks like so, you know what I'm saying? It looks like one of those like default Vims. And he just doesn't care about this stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, it's like, there's a point of diminishing returns though. When you spend like, I feel like once you get to a certain point with your NeoVim config, like you start, and everything you add after that is like, you're shaving off like maybe 10 seconds here, maybe, you know, per year. But like when you first start getting like go to definition probably saved me like literally hours a week just having that 100%. One bind. So I don't know. Yeah. It's like after you get all the low hanging fruit, there's definitely some diminishing returns, I feel like.
For sure. I would be curious, like this guy that you mentioned, I don't know him, but do you know if he ever spent a lot of time previously configuring NeoVim and all this stuff and all this workflow perfection stuff, and then kind of had a full circle moment and went back to just removing all that bloat and just sticking to vanilla VI, or he never even tried to do that in the first place?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I've had a guess. He probably just has always used the same tools. Like he's probably on Debian stable. He's probably just an old guy, you know?
Right.
And just uses whatever is, you know what I'm saying? But he has a YouTube channel, so I'm pretty sure it's all public and it's all figure outable. Let's see, kernel development.
I think I saw a video of him today. Oh, someone in the comments recommended or told me you should interview René something. What is his name?
That's him.
Tony?
That's him. René Rebe. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Actually, he might not be French, by the way. He might be up your alley, Hendrik.
Oh, he's
from Berlin, Germany.
Oh,
so I don't know how close that is to where you're from, but
I'm in Berlin quite frequently. Like I don't live there, but the company I work for is based in Berlin, so I sometimes travel there.
Yeah, that's the capital of Germany, right? Or no?
Yeah, it is.
That's cool. I knew that. But he's. Let me look at some of his stuff here. Yeah, dude, like look at this stuff. It's come on. I'll just send a screenshot to the Discord. I don't know how it works. I mean, I guess I could send it to the chat here.
Or you want me to share your screen?
No, because I'm on my personal thing.
Okay. Not on the virtual machine.
Let me do toggle the chat. If I paste it in the chat, does it go? No, it doesn't go. I don't want to send it to the Discord. Just don't share it. You know what I mean? But yeah. Look at him, dude. Look at this guy.
Wait.
I have the perfect picture of Vimothée. Hold on. Oh man, this is good. I have to save it.
Doesn't have a color scheme.
That might be him typing like a less or something. I don't even know what he's doing there.
Is he using Comic Sans as a font?
Unironically?
That's crazy. Comic Sans and no color scheme.
It might, yeah, I think it might be Comic Sans. It also could be Monaco.
But at that point, like, why torture yourself? I mean, it's so easy to just install a color scheme and it just makes life so much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so much more readable. And it takes like 5 seconds to do.
Was it you that mentioned that like you can parse things better when you see like the colors or the syntax? Or was that because I feel like I've watched you say that in a video once where like you can, it's easier for you to, but I think it might have been in your SQL video or something like that where there's no syntax highlighting, so you turn that on or something.
I don't remember, but I would definitely sign that that statement.
Co-sign it.
Okay, and you guys see Vimothée there? Okay. We have him there.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so
they're perfect.
Yeah, at least it doesn't feel like we are, we're alone. And if he ever joins, which I don't think he will, we will be able to listen to him. Yep. Just gonna send him a message. I think.
Where did you find that picture? Did you just screenshot that from a video?
Which one? Vimothée's?
Yeah.
AI. I had one on a previous thumbnail, so I exported it, and then I told AI to make him crying. It did it.
Crazy.
Okay, so hey guys, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. We have Tony in the house. We have Henry Misk as well. Vimothée, we don't know if Vimothée is gonna join. We're waiting on him, so we'll see if he joins or not. Now, what are we gonna be covering today, or what are we gonna be talking about today? So let me switch to my screen so we can take a look at that right now. There's just a few topics that I wanna go over, okay? single or multiple monitors, tiles as well in window managers, or a single application on the screen? What are your thoughts on widescreen monitors, rolling window managers like Niri? Because I've seen that in the Linux community a lot, so I have my doubts, I have my questions about it. Linux versus Mac as well, and thoughts on Omarchy and DHH, and Raycast as well for the macOS users. Okay, and if you guys want to talk about something, just interrupt
Right
me.
on.
Yep,
Well, ad
and we
hoc
can
it,
talk
yeah.
about it. Yeah. So just for people that don't know you guys, you mind just sharing a little bit about you, who you are? Let's start with Tony.
Yeah, man. I just make Linux tutorials at YouTube, Tony dash by the way. That's pretty much. I'm into Linux, free and open source software, and yeah, I just like to share that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in like Gen 2, Arch, NixOS, that kind of stuff, NeoVim, whatever, just check out the channel. And it's just, I don't really put opinions in here. It's just kind of boring, dense, just like straightforward tutorial stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. So you have almost 10,000 subscribers, Tony. You started like what? Well,
I
you
would say
joined,
that's
but
a misnomer, but my
Yeah.
first video was in maybe February or January this year.
Damn, that's fast. That's fast, man. So, yeah, some content. If there's someone out there, I think that all my subs are already subbed to you. But if there's someone out there that is not yet, just go and join Tony. Now, what about you, Hendrik?
Yes, hey everyone. My name is Henry. I run a YouTube channel called Henry Misk, and I share content around workflow engineering. So everything that makes the life of an engineer a bit smoother. I share tips around Vim and NeoVim, Emacs, that kind of stuff. Recently, I tried a bunch of different topics as well, like how to, or basically why I switched to a split keyboard instead of a normal keyboard, and what are kind of the pros and cons of that. And from time to time, I also share some other ideas around how to work a bit more efficiently or ergonomically as a software engineer.
Okay. I noticed that you have a new camera now. You're on an iPhone camera, right?
Yeah. Does it look better?
It looks better. Better. Now it's just you, Tony. When are you switching to iPhone and macOS?
If they make it free and open source, I would consider switching over. That'd be nice. Actually, be kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, let me just set a goal here. Hold on. Let's see if this
I want to
works.
add something too. While you're setting that goal, I want to add something real quick because Henry Misk, I remember when I saw a lot of his videos, it's similar channel as mine in some small way. We have a Venn diagram of overlap. And then I saw you had interviewed him. So we kind of all are related in some small way here, I think. And it's interesting because he pointed out that he shifted gears a little bit. And recently he had made like a carpal tunnel kind of RSI video, like what he does for that. And I do some of that stuff too. And like, I just never talk about it. So I wonder how much of us out there do a lot of the same stuff that we just never talk about because we're always focused on like workflow engineering or like Linux or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Share your workflow in a video. Hold on, Tony. Let me just share this.
My bad. Yeah. I'm interrupting you with the goal check.
We're going to be reading super chat. So if you guys have any questions or anything, just send them there and we'll go over them. Okay. So, okay. You guys want to start with the first topic?
Yeah, man. Let's jump into it. I'm excited.
Okay. Let's
go.
do it. Now, monitors. That's the thing that I want to discuss first. Who wants to go and explain and share their thoughts? Is it one monitor, multiple monitors? Like, what's the deal here? Who wants to go?
I can go first here. I think for me, one monitor is perfect for everything except for YouTube. Because when I do YouTube stuff, I have to be looking at 2 monitors usually, if not 3. Like, it's kind of crazy. But I've never needed more than one monitor until I made the YouTube channel. And I'm kind of curious your guys' thoughts on this because, for my daily like workflow stuff, I can do everything I need on one monitor. But when it comes to editing videos or just recording stuff and making sure that like I have everything, like a visible cue that I'm actually recording, that's a big deal for me. Because I record full screen on like a different monitor and stuff like that. And like editing the video, like having a visual indicator of the video on a second monitor while editing it, you know. And then I don't know, when I do the live streams, like having a chat available on the third monitor so I can see the chat and then see my screen and then, whatever. So I don't know. What do you guys think about kind of, I guess, kick it over to you, Henry? Like, what are your thoughts on like the one monitor lifestyle? And then if not, as a YouTuber.
Hold on, Tony. If you weren't doing YouTube, right? Just your regular day job, no video editing, no streaming, nothing. Would you use 2 monitors or one?
One for sure. One. Because anything extra is just a distraction. I think it's like I'm always in Vim. I use one buffer. I don't use like any kind of a split V splits or anything like that. So why I just extend that to everything? I have one monitor. So if I need to Alt Tab or whatever, which I never do, but yeah, if I need to go to Windows 3, I'll go to Windows 3. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about you, Hendrik?
So I do have a widescreen monitor. I tried different setups previously as well. I used to have 2 monitors as well, but there always something was missing because sometimes I like having a wide screen to have more screen real estate when I need to see something wide. I'm a machine learning engineer and I work a lot with data. And sometimes I just need to see the result of a query that has a lot of columns, for example. And then it is helpful to see a lot of different or as much of the table as I can see. Otherwise, I need to horizontal scroll quite a bit. But in general, I'm also with Tony. Like most of the time, I don't even need most of my screen. Like right now, for example, I have one window centered on my wide screen, and left and right, I literally have like 10-20% of the screen just blank space, and that is not even used. And yeah, so unless I'm kind of looking at documentation while I'm typing on the other side, I feel one screen works perfectly for me. And now recently I've started to doing YouTube and video editing, and there it really helps to have a wider screen. But otherwise, a normal scale screen would usually work 99% of the time for me.
Okay, because I have seen the setups. Yeah, I have seen the setups for people that have like a vertical monitor on the side and they have a monitor above, and they work on the widescreen, and they say that it's super efficient. That's the peak of productivity. And I'm like, damn, man. Because previously I used to work in a 52-inch TV, right? Like a huge TV. It was a 4K TV. That was my monitor. And it had, I had a lot of real estate. So I could put my Slack on the top right corner, my terminal on the top left. On the bottom left, I had my browser, my Obsidian, and then I had to switch to another desktop, right? And there I had the email, and then I had, and I thought it was pretty effective. And I was like, damn, this is the best thing that I could have ever done. A huge TV, because I get a lot of space. But I noticed that I was searching for stuff a lot, because I was like, okay, so where's my email? And I would go to the desk 2, click on my email. Then if I needed to go to Slack, I would go to the desk 1 and go to Slack, right?
Did you say click on? Do you say click?
Well, yeah.
Did you click on your email?
Click on the app, right? So that's the way that I used to do it in the past. And I used my mouse a lot, and I used my eyes, and I had to see, okay, so where's the app? Where's this other one? And it was exhausting, man. Because I had to be like this, and then Obsidian is right there. Okay, so click on it or switch to it. However, start typing. Then go to the browser, and it was somewhere else. Until I watched the video by ThePrimeagen where he shared his workflow. And that's when it all changed, And I was like,
what is his workflow?
He uses a single monitor.
He had made a video called Developer Workflow for 2021 or something like that. It's old tech. And he had i3 as a window manager, Tmux as a terminal multiplexer, and NeoVim. Yeah, there it is, literally. And if you see, look below. Look at the one below.
Yeah,
his one is for 2021, nice. And mine is for 2029. So if you guys want to see a better workflow, I know it's got less views, but check it out. It's going to be more future proof. Look at that.
Yeah, but that made me look at things completely differently. And I was like, okay, so let me try to use my monitor, my big TV. I used it like in a quarter of the screen, right? So this was the entire TV. I was using just a quarter of it to see if I could make it work, right? And that's what I've been doing ever since. You don't need two monitors. I think it's just bloat, unless you do video editing, or I would say that's the only case for me.
Now, do you still have that big TV? Or are you still like having like one small section of it, and then the rest of it is just like Mr. Beast or something like that, 24/7 or what?
No, I switched to a 32-inch monitor, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm using. 32-inch? Yeah, I think it's 32-inch monitor. So it's just a regular monitor that I use right now. But it wasn't the case, was the TV for a long time. So that brings me to the other point that I wanted to touch on, right? Monitor size. Because I see that widescreen monitors are really popular, right? Instead of 16:9. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
You want to go around the horn the same direction?
Yep, it's fine.
Well, let me ask you, I guess, let me kick it back to you with a question, actually, because this might actually just debunk the whole question. Could you, gun to your head, pull out your laptop? I guess let's assume that you don't have to use Windows, right? Whereas for your day job, let's say you had to go to Starbucks or something like that because your internet went out. Could you theoretically get your job done like decently fast with a laptop?
Exactly, 100%. Yep.
So I think, does size matter for monitors? I say no, honestly. I think there's like a little minimum barrier of entry, maybe like certain size so you can actually see it. But I think for the most part, is I'm on a laptop. As long as it's decently sized screen and everything, and I can if it's 1920 by 1080 at least, then I think I'm fine. But just because
And what about wide ones? Would you use, or do you think that a wide monitor is better?
I think a wide monitor is just two monitors. I would say if it's an ultra wide, that would just be two monitors.
An ultra wide. Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, if Henry uses an ultra wide, I'm curious, like if it's an ultra wide or like a regular wide monitor. But it doesn't. I don't know if it seems like that would just be two monitors, right?
Not really. It's smaller. It's like one monitor and then 33% extra. Kind of. That's how it's advertised. But honestly, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's one of the purchases that I regret because, like, when I'm in Germany, I kind of have a small setup at my mom's place, so I can keep working there. And there I only have a regular size monitor, and it works perfectly fine. Like, I'm not less efficient because I only have one available. And as I said, like, just for video editing, definitely wider is better. But most of the time, I anyway center my window on the screen. And that's also why I'm not a huge fan of tiling window managers, because they try to maximize the screen usage. And on a wide monitor, that can be quite counterproductive if suddenly like you have a window on the left and the other one on the right, because then you need to look, as you mentioned, Link, like on a big screen, you need to look to the left, to the right, and like there's a lot of head movement going on just to capture or just to see everything that's on your screen. While if you're just able to switch efficiently between apps, I feel you don't need a lot of screen real estate. It's just, there's a lot of friction, especially on macOS. That's, I think, where Linux is much better. But on Mac, the default window switching is kind of terrible. Like this, when you have to, with the trackpad, use the motions, and then you get this view where you get all your windows, and then you need to click on the window where you want to go. And that's just terrible.
Yep.
But if you don't have that friction and you can just press a button and go where you want to go, then there's no need to see everything at once, because there's not the friction of switching between the apps in the first place. That's how I kind of feel about it.
Okay. There is a scenario in which I think that wide monitors are useful, and it's just if you play games, that's it. I don't think there's any other reason to use wide, like ultra wide monitors. And I'm not even sure if playing games is a decent reason. I don't play games, so I have no idea, but I think it's nice. I have no idea. But my thoughts
I will say this. You go ahead, actually. You go ahead.
No, go, Tony.
I'll say this. As far as games go, when I played Counter-Strike back in the day, we always set our resolution down to 1280 by 720 or whatever, just because it was easier to see people's heads. So we used like smaller monitors anyway. So I don't know if that's still a thing. I know a lot of pros still I don't know, maybe not anymore because it's kind of old, but yeah, I don't know. Do you guys even play games though? Or yeah,
not
this is
anymore.
workflow engineering,
No
man.
time.
You have no time for that.
No.
But
No.
anyway, back to you. What were you about to say before I interrupted you?
What you said about the laptop screen, right? Because I want to be as effective on my monitor, the 16:9 external monitor that I have, and also on my laptop screen. Because it happened to me when I remember right now, I remember exactly how it felt when I used my 4K TV, right? I had a workflow on the TV, because I had organized my apps in certain sections of the screen. But then when I needed to grab the laptop and go and work outside, it was a nightmare, man, because the screen is small. So I had to fucking figure out a way to organize the apps on the screen. It was painful. I hated it. So ever since I moved away to the one monitor workflow and one application on the screen at a time,
Yeah,
I never worry about that anymore at all. So
one
if
buffer.
Yep.
One buffer on any of them. Yeah.
yeah, one thing on the screen at a time, right? So if I'm on the laptop, it's going to be the exact same thing compared to if I'm on the external monitor, right? My workflow doesn't change, and I can work on the laptop as effectively as if I was on the external monitor.
Yeah.
Do you use Spaces on Mac?
I use the spaces, but let me show you. It's easier because whenever you guys want to share something or show something, just let me know, and we can look at it there. Okay. So this is my space in which I have my terminal, and that's it, right? You can see it, correct?
Mhm.
So this one is configured in BSP mode, right? So if I open other instances of the terminal here, they open in this space in, sections like this, right? But this is the only one, right? If I move to this one, for example, if I move to my browser, for example, and if I switch to other app, what do I have here? YouTube, right? That is, all of those are in a specific space, in a single space. All of these that you see are in stack mode, one behind the other in this same desktop one, right? So
Yeah.
all of the stack stuff is here, and the ones that are in split mode are in other spaces, like chat. If I switch to this desktop 5, chat is also configured in BSP, right? Because I need to see all of them at once, and it makes sense for me to use BSP in this specific scenario as well, but most of the times I'm here, in this space
Right.
that is in stack mode, and just one at a time. What about you guys?
Yeah, I use one. I can show in a second here. Let me switch to a different VM actually.
Okay, let me know.
I use one. Hang on. I'm like you pretty much with one. I know you said BSP. There's a window manager called BSPWM. So I thought you were talking about that, but I'm sure it's probably the same naming convention. You can put my screen on if you want. But yeah, I use one thing per screen, like you said. So like even if 2 terminals, I don't even like doing that.
Mhm.
Like I'm not even a huge fan of that. So I'll just use Tmux.
Yeah,
Like we all do.
I don't like doing that as well. Yep.
But then also for the browser, like I'll always have a browser open here, whatever. And then I'm not going to link that. But then, we got like whatever. And then I'll even like full screen it because I think the bar to an extent might be bloat. I don't actually know. I don't even need the bar. You know what I mean?
The bar, which one at the top of the screen?
Yeah, like it says like, here, let me kill Firefox because I think there's some sensitive stuff on there. But like the bar is like kind of bloat. Like I don't need to know I'm on workspace 3. I just know where that's always Firefox, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like on number 2, it's always my work browser. Number 4 is always Slack. So like I don't know, the bar, I only need it for the clock. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to care what time it is. I'm just going to stay in one, full screen mode and then start writing code or whatever. Like let's say I want to just edit my NeoVim config or something. I just jump right to it or what have you. And I just like stay zoomed in a lot too. I don't know. I just like to do one
thing at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Like the opposite of Tiger Woods. You know what I mean?
And why not multiple ones? why not multiple apps in the screen so you can X your productivity, right? Instead of single tasking, you're multitasking, so you're a 10x developer. Why?
Like, let's say I want to, well, like I was telling you this before, I had a,
I'll
like
switch
a
to your
website.
screen when you're ready. Let me know.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's say I want to go like into like some development or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just run Hugo serve or whatever. And then I'll go back here, and on here I'll go, maybe I'll go to the repo, and then I'll go into the file, whatever. I can just stay here. I don't need to, like, the old me, like maybe the old school me would have had two monitors and said, hey, on one monitor, I'm going to look at the code base and VS Code with like tabs open and like a files tree or whatever. And then on the other monitor, I'm going to have this open, like,
do you need
maybe
that?
The inspect.
That's a question that I have for you, Tony, because that's one of the reasons that people bring tiles up. I do web development and I need to see in real time what's happening. Like, I cannot waste a second to go to my So I'm like, but man, with the single key press, you can switch to the other app, see what happened, go back. Like, do you need tiles there or no? If you do web development the way that you're showing right now.
And even that, like, even this thing on the right is kind of bloat. Like, this could be its own. A lot of the times I pop this out and put it in number 5. And so, like, because I want to see the screen full, but if I'm developing and let's say I want to like look at what mobile looks like, I do like to kind of have this available. But yeah, like if I'm just doing some development in here, like I think I always talk about, it's really easy to just say, hey, I want to change quick and painless. I can use my mouse here to copy that with the Control C, and then I can just grep it here, and then there's the file. I can go in there, and I can just change it to slow and painful, and save that, and then I'm already there.
Like,
I don't need I don't need to see that. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. That is better. That represents
you see what I'm
more.
saying? So but I don't know. My whole point is like, no, I don't think it's all personal preference though. So like if someone tells me, hey, I'm a web developer and I need like 7 monitors, like one for the inspect element, like one for my VS Code, one for the file structure, one for Mr. Beast, so I can see what he's up to.
The other totally for linkarzu.
Yeah, well, because then he's actually doing something good, right? So I'm trying to like roast this person, this hypothetical person I'm roasting.
Okay.
But and I think I even have like that whole bookmarks thing. I still have it from the last demo. Like I could just immediately go to your website right there. Boom, done. And we can talk about Joshua Blais and stuff. Like I don't need to do all this extra blow. I don't know, man. I feel like you just have to. For me as a web developer, it's literally just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You know what I mean? So
okay. And what about you, Hendrik? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel this is one of the cases where I would actually prefer 2 screens, or at least in my case, I have kind of my main screen right in front of me, and then I have my MacBook to the side, kind of on a stand, so it's kind of the same height as my monitor. So I can look at it, and my camera is now mounted on top of it, and so I wouldn't use this as my active screen, but just to put something there to look at it when I need to. I think that kind of works really well. So usually, for example, I would have here a playlist or Spotify or something like that. And yeah, it's not something that I actively work with, but sometimes I glance over and just see it. So
but it's not
that's
something
kind of how I would deal with that.
Part of your core workflow, right? Like, or
No.
Is it part of your core workflow?
No, it's not.
Just
like most of the time, my MacBook screen is empty. And I'm just using my main monitor. And I do see the case. I do see a point where, so that's how I would do it. In this case, if I was developing a web app, I would have the browser window with the live preview on the MacBook screen, but I would definitely not have it in 2 tiles, because if my code is in one tile and the preview is in the other tile, then that means like most of the time I'll be looking at my code, right? And I won't spend so much time looking at the preview because I'll be coding. But then it means I would need to look always to one side of the screen. And ideally, I would have my main work front and center on the screen, which is the most ergonomic, the most comfortable for me to keep. to keep it for long periods of time.
Okay. So overall, then, what's the conclusion of this? Everyone that uses multiple monitors is just bloat. They don't know what they're talking about. Agree?
I mean, I'd
Nah.
co-sign that, but to an extent where if we caveat the fact that the word bloat means things that you don't personally like, then yeah, 100%. I'm all for that. But I do have a question for Henry. Do you ever see a situation where like maybe an older version of you, like a younger version, I guess, rather, would have had like MySQL Workbench or something, like one of those IDEs for MySQL open on like a separate monitor, and then you can look up the data. Yeah, dbeaver or something.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at that on a second monitor, and then like kind of looking at what your code and stuff that's been now solved with your 20-line NeoVim like native like script that you wrote, or no?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I definitely felt more was better in the past. And I do feel, depending on the nature of the work, a different workflow is probably better. For example, if you do a lot of data analysis, I do feel it is helpful to have multiple screens.
Okay.
Just because you'll probably have some kind of presentation or some spreadsheet or whatever. Maybe someone sent you over a spreadsheet, hey, have a look at these whatever IDs, and then you're kind of pulling those over into a query, and then you need to look at the results, and then maybe sometimes you need to see a big table, and yeah, I just think that can be very helpful at times.
Now, is it bad getting used to working with multiple monitors in case they don't have to at some point? Should you go through the pain, of improving your workflow so you can adapt it to a single monitor? So it doesn't matter if you have to go outside, you can still be as efficient, you think? Or it's like, now I work with data analysis, like you mentioned. I don't know what you guys do there, but I guess you go through a lot of data, right? But is it worth it to try to adapt it to a single monitor? Or it's like, nah, fuck it, I'll just use 2 monitors and whatever.
In my opinion, it really depends on your main work setup. Like if you're a person that travels a lot, I definitely think it makes sense to optimize for a smaller screen. Like in my case, I sometimes work from the Berlin office, sometimes I work at home, sometimes I go to my mom's place in Germany and work there. And so I have a lot of different setups, and I like to be able to work with my MacBook monitor, with my main monitor, with a different monitor. I want to be able to just use my laptop keyboard as well. That's why I'm not using something like whole Mac or some weird QWERTY, just because I can keep the muscle memory and use a computer like a normal human being.
Yeah.
So I kind of optimize for that. And yeah, I guess it really depends. But then if you're a person that only does data analysis and only working from the home office and never travels, never goes to the office, and you always have your optimal setup, then yeah, why not optimize for that? But it really depends on the person and the need, I would say.
So basically, if you're an Arch user that doesn't go out to touch grass, it's just next in front of the computer the whole day, you're allowed to use multiple monitors. Is that what I understood from your conclusion?
Yeah, you can
Hendrik?
optimize for whatever you want. You can optimize for Dvorak, I don't know, some
Dvorak, yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to come after you again, Link. You keep saying stuff like that. No, but I think he's right, because there's value in being able to work on a laptop only, work efficiently, especially when you're just like working from home, but like maybe say a couple days of the week you go into the office or whatever with your laptop. I think people that can get stuff done quickly with one screen, like, I don't know, it just helps. You don't have to you don't need a whole setup. You could just you have a bug or something, right? You pull your laptop out of your backpack and then you skate to the coffee shop or whatever, and then you order like a little latte it costs $8 or whatever, and then you just quickly fix it, and then you're Giga Chad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you have a MacBook too, probably. And this person I'm talking about has a MacBook, right?
Yeah.
Like, so.
Of course. So I remember how it was when I had my huge screen and I had to work on the small screen. Man, that memory came back to my mind, and it was freaking painful. You have you guys seen the Microsoft errors where there's a lot of instances of the error, like a trail? Have you seen that image? Like, there's a lot of small. Hold on. This is the way that I had to organize my apps. Microsoft error trail. I guess I'm going to be able to find something. This is the way that I had to organize my applications when I had to switch from the 4K TV to the monitor. So I had all of them like this, and I would click on the edge, to travel to each app. It was painful. It was
Oh
not
no.
effective. It was no. But
You come a long way, Link. You come a long
yeah,
way, and you've evolved, and you've got a lot more to go. You never. It's a rabbit hole you never stop. You like literally this morning you were doing something with some kitty sessions, right, or something like that.
yep. So, but it all goes along with the keyboard as well, right? Is the
Yeah.
keyboard a huge part of your guys' workflow? Let's go with you, Tony. What do you do with your keyboard? What do you do with your mouse?
What do I do with my keyboard, bro? That's a little bit. That's a little bit of an intimate question. What do I do? What do you?
You
What
slap
do I
it.
do with my keyboard? No, I mean, I feel like I'm going to agree with Henry on this. Like, I want my keyboard to be like, I want to be able to use all of my workflow on a rubber dome keyboard, like that's $5, like the Dell keyboard that comes with the built-in, those pre-built PCs, that little $5 keyboard. I want to be able to use that keyboard and be just fine. And I'm pretty sure, like, if I have like some split keyboard or some Dvorak thing, like I'm not going to be able to just float around and be efficient on all that stuff. Plus, I don't have carpal tunnel or anything like that bad, because I actually watched the carpal tunnel videos. So I've been doing those exercises every day. So I think, that goes a long way too. I'm just kind of half kidding but I do actually do some of that stuff. But for me, it's like the split keyboard thing. I actually press Y with my left hand, my left pointer finger. So I can never use a split keyboard because of the fact that when I split my hands, the Y key is on the right side. So when I do monkey type on a split keyboard, I'm at like 8 words per minute because I can't hit Y, and there's some other things too. But on a regular keyboard, I'm pretty fast. So I'm always going to be using a regular keyboard probably, just for 2 reasons. One is kind of what Henry said, is like if you open up a random laptop, or if you have to debug somebody on a normie machine, I want to be able to just use the keyboard QWERTY, so unless the government mandates Dvorak or Colmac or something, like I'm going to be staying on like a regular keyboard for until then. So
And how often do you use another laptop though? Like, because I have my key maps, my keyboard is configured on my external keyboard, but using Kanata, I can configure it the same way on my MacBook keyboard, on the built-in keyboard. So it doesn't matter if I'm on the Glove 80 or if I'm on the MacBook keyboard, my key maps are the exact same. Nothing changes at all, right? So if I'm on my computer, it's awesome. I can work, doesn't matter. But yeah, if I go to a different computer, god damn. Or if someone tries to use my computer, good luck. They will not. But I use QWERTY, I
that's
use
security.
QWERTY.
That's security though, right?
Yeah, that's
That's
security.
another layer of security, right? Like,
yeah. But I use QWERTY, right? But how often do you use another computer?
So I use like 5 different computers, and I don't even leave my house that often, man. I've got like a setup down here, and then I've got 2, 3 laptops like that I would do different things on. And one of them is just like testing different Linux distributions, because for the channel I make a lot of Linux videos and I want to do it on bare metal. And then I've got like a work laptop and stuff, and I've got like I just have a bunch of machines that I use. I have 2 computers, I have a server. I have too many, dude. There's too much stuff, dude. My life is bloated with as far as like how many computers I have. It is bloat for sure, but yeah, definitely. And I've got too many keyboards too. Just collect them over the last couple of years. So
What about you, Hendrik? What are your thoughts on keyboard? Like, yeah, in your entire workflow, is it like keyboard centric a lot, or it's like nah, not too much?
Yeah, there's a trade-off there, right? Because I try to make it as keyboard-centric as possible, and I even try to get a Vim-like workflow everywhere in the browser using tools like, what is it called? Vimium. I even made a video about Shortcut recently, which is this Vim everywhere kind of tool that allows you to click on anything in any UI on Mac. Using the keyboard. But honestly, for the day-to-day workflow, as long as I'm in the terminal, I only use the keyboard. But then if I'm in a browser, I find I'm just faster using the mouse. And I also think there's nothing wrong with using the mouse when you're interacting with a UI that is designed for the mouse. Because, I mean, some things are just designed for that kind of workflow.
Right,
and
edit
you
a
can't
video
really
with the
change
keyboard.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
play Counter-Strike with no mouse. See how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, it would be perfect if everything was a TUI or a CLI app, but it's just not the case, unfortunately.
Yeah. I use the mouse as well. I try to use this Mouseless app but I haven't used it in a long time. Sometimes it's just faster to grab the mouse. But then I'm like, but I should be using Mouseless. And I open it from time to time and I'm just switching between the two. I try to go Mouseless completely, but it didn't work out for me.
Is it the grid one? Where you get a
The
grid
grid one.
that
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
cool.
to sort of echo what Henry just said, like for web development, I need to make sure that the mouse works for the user. So I have to use the mouse, you know.
Exactly.
But if I'm in the terminal, like exactly like he said, it's always the keyboard. If I'm in NeoVim, keyboard, etc. What the?
It's great.
yeah, that's
That looks like
Mouseless, right?
C Matrix or something, bro. Like you look like Neo.
Careful.
What are you doing?
If you're epileptic, be careful. Because
You forgot to give the trigger warning, man.
yeah. So that is the trigger or the grid that Hendrik was talking about.
Yeah.
Now, is there okay, yeah. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about this other window manager that I've seen a lot recently that is called Niri. This is a Linux thing. Us, macOS, normies don't know about this type of window manager, but I have seen it a lot, right? So is it worth it? Is it useful? What do you think on that, Tony?
Yeah, I think it's great. I actually have a video coming out on it in probably in a few weeks, but I think people. It's first of all, I think it's written in Rust, so that's always makes it. You get extra points if you're written in Rust. A lot of people like that. But another thing is like, if you don't care about that, it's really good for. It has this unique thing about it called it's like a scrolling window manager. Like a lot of you hear the tiling window managers, dynamic window managers. This one's like a scrolling one. And so people have been taking this scrolling feature from Niri and adding it to their own window manager so that they can like have their new technology in their own window manager. But it's kind of cool. A lot of people say it's like designed for laptops because you can just have like a million different things open on one workspace and just scroll them over and over again. But I don't think that does it justice because there's so many different features with Niri that are not just that scrolling feature that make it like a little bit different than a lot of these other. I don't want to say window managers because they're technically not window managers, but yeah, you have a question?
I have a question for you right there. Doesn't it defeat the purpose? I know it manages windows and that's its purpose, because it's not like a workflow optimizer. That's not its name, right? It's just a window manager, so it manages your windows. But doesn't it defeat the purpose of optimizing your workflow? If you have everything, like in a space and you can scroll through 50 apps, right? Isn't it too difficult to find your app? Let's say that you have 20 apps, right? You have to scroll through them, right? Oh, here it is. Now I need to go back to the other one that is all the way at the beginning. Going back, right? So is it effective? It's
so it
cool,
is effective,
but
it is effective because it's not just like one workspace.
Mm-hmm.
It has everything you normally would expect from window manager. Like you can do 1, 2, 3, 4 for your tags, but on those tags, every tag is considered like its own infinite strip, if you will. So let's say you want to only have one tag and you have a terminal, like I was showing earlier with the terminal and the browser. Instead of switching over from tag 1 to tag 2, you can just press like super H or super L, like with Vim keybinds, to just go like left and right and just scroll through whatever is on your tag 1 or tag 2. But it also works really well with the trackpad. So if you're like a trackpad normie, like it built into the kit has trackpad like triple whatever the heck, triple finger gestures and stuff. So it's like
macOS.
Yeah, exactly.
Like macOS.
Yeah.
So
I was about to say, I think it'd be good for you to check it out.
They're going back in time and they're copying macOS. I don't buy it, Tony. I disagree
but
with
it's
you
not
there.
but it's here. I don't want to be. I hate to be this guy, but it's not a window manager. Why do you think it's a?
What is it? What is it then?
It's technically not a window manager. It's called a Wayland compositor, technically.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious why you think it's a window manager.
Because I see it on YouTube all over the place. If I search for Niri, I'm gonna find a lot of videos. I'm not gonna call any names. Or no.
Sorry guys, maybe a dumb question, but because I've just learned about Niri just before the video, and I've been looking into it, but I don't get what's the difference between Niri and just having a tiling window manager and spaces that you can swipe between, like on macOS.
Functionally, it's pretty similar. But Niri is open source and free, so that would be the difference.
Okay.
But I mean, on regular Linux machines, you can also have multiple spaces, right? So
yeah.
Look at this
I
scrolling
use
window
Niri
manager.
I mean, there's a lot of cool things you can do in Niri, but again, like you said, I think a lot of these window managers have adapted pretty much everything from each other. So yeah, what's that? Who's that guy?
Now you're also getting the short that I got.
Favorite YouTuber.
Yeah.
Oh, this short.
Yeah, that's the one that I got.
It's an AI generated. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gold.
So what was the question then, Hendrik? Like, what's the difference? Okay, so what's the purpose of a scrolling window manager if you can have the applications like in different spaces, right? One on each space. I guess, Tony, would it be like that you don't have to worry about putting applications in different spaces and organizing them, but instead of jumping to them effectively, you scroll through them until you find it, right? So you have to scroll through your apps till you find the one that you want. Kind of like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's just different out-of-the-box defaults for Niri, for example, that are just sane, I guess. And yeah, it has like extra stuff. Like, first of all, it's not just I guess it's a scrolling window manager, but there's so many things that they're adding to it all the time to make it kind of for people that were used to like GNOME back in the day. They had this workspace feature in GNOME that's similar to what you guys are talking about with the the Mac spaces and stuff. So it's like kind of a combo between like a desktop environment and window manager, but yeah, it's an interesting project for sure. I like it a lot actually for my laptop. I've been using it just kind of for testing purposes, and it's pretty clean out of the box for sure.
I have another question on this. So a tiling window manager always tries, like you open an app and the tiling window manager tries to find the optimal position on your screen to maximize your screen real estate basically, right? But now when you can scroll, like how does a window actually end up outside your viewport inside of that scrolling section? And then how do you scroll? Do you use the mouse or a trackpad, or can you scroll using the keyboard? How does that work?
Yeah, so you can scroll, you can customize it however you want, but out of the defaults are set up to where you can scroll the trackpad if you have one. You can also scroll with like Super H, Super L, like the Vim keys. So you can just scroll left, right with one. But you also don't even need to use that aspect of the window manager. Like you can just have it as a like you could literally do what I just did, where you just open one window on each tag, and then you just go to your tags and you don't worry about it. But I actually would be curious to see one of you guys like try it out on like a virtual machine or something, just to see what it would look like to watch a macOS user like open up Niri as with the defaults, because it seems like it kind of feels like it's macOS like defaults thing. You know what I mean?
Does it come with Omarchy so we can give it a try?
It's distro agnostic, so no. Omarchy, it comes with Hyperland by default. So I think you'd have to, if you're going to use Omarchy, you'd have to install it on top of Omarchy, I think.
Okay. Now, is there something else that you guys want to touch about what we talked about right now, or you want to jump to another topic?
Well, I mean, you mentioned the O word. I mean, we can open that can of worms. I feel it's pretty politically charged. We can just jump right into that.
Yeah. So I've seen this everywhere, right? Omarchy, and big YouTubers bring it up, and everyone is, sucking on someone's something, right? So it raises the questions, so it makes me wonder, is it actually a good distribution? I haven't tried it, right? And I don't want to try it because I feel that there's a lot of hype around it because the content is hot right now. If I make a video about Omarchy, people's going to watch it probably, right? So is that the reason why it's so popular? Is it actually really good? What do you guys think?
I don't want to let Henry go first on this one.
Okay.
I'll go after.
I mean, I think the reason it's popular is because DHH has crazy reach, and whatever he does, a lot of people are willing to try. Also, he has a very good reputation, so I think it makes sense that it's popular. The way I feel about it is exactly how I feel about NeoVim distros, essentially. I think they're really good, especially to show you if you have no idea what you're doing. I would always start with something like this just to see what is possible. Like, I have never raised an Arch configuration on Hyperland or anything. So just to get a sense of what is possible, I would start with Omarchy. And then I would probably debloat and see, like, remove all the stuff that I don't need, maybe make some tweaks here and there. And then 2 months later, I will anyways end up configuring everything from scratch and building my own exactly how I like it. And that's also how I did NeoVim. After VS Code, I installed AstroVim, then LazyVim, and nothing really worked perfectly for me. And in the end, I just built my own config. And I feel it would be the same with Omarchy. So it's great that it exists, but it would most likely not be an end-all be-all for me.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tony?
No, that's that's interesting because you're talking about the via negativa philosophy with your setup, right? So you just go straight from something that's out of the box with defaults that you don't think you have time to set up by yourself to see what's possible. I get that. I actually didn't know anything about Omarchy until yesterday when you told me we were going to talk about it, because I've purposely kind of just been blocking it out mentally because I see so much, like I just see so many every day. I see a new video about it, a thumbnail or a title, and I'm like, what is this? And I just, for whatever reason, I didn't like the aesthetics of the word Omarchy in the thumbnail, so I just never clicked on it. And so I'm like, yeah, you know what, whatever. But then, so when you asked me, hey, let's talk about Omarchy, I'm like, you know what, let me actually look at this and see what this is about before I actually talk about it. So I looked at the repo. It looks pretty. I mean, it looks like the Basecamp is who made the repository. I guess it was made by DHH, but Basecamp is like the conglomerate corporation or whatever. Yeah, I mean, you can call it an account, I guess, but the corporation that made the district, we want to call it a distribution. They also made something for Ubuntu similar. I looked at their GitHub account.
Omakube. What happened to that? Did it die already?
Well, I think it still exists. I'm sure it's the same thing. Like, I think it just started with somebody wanting like same defaults shippable to a bunch of other people. Like, and I don't have any problem with that. It's free open source project. Somebody can, ship their dot files to whoever they want. It just installs everything you need. And that's kind of cool. Maybe it lowers friction for people that don't want to go through, the process of setting everything up by themselves. But what I will say is that, like, when I looked at the script, I mean, it's just, there's so much stuff on there that I think is just not needed. That it's like, to debloat that, it would actually take less time to just start from scratch and then like figure out like what you're missing. Cause it's like, for me personally, like, I don't know, I only need like 5 things. Like Henry only needs like, I think NeoVim, WesTerm, maybe like a kind of a window manager that's similar to like the workspace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing in Mac. And then like from there, I guess it would just be like a web browser. And like, I think it would be like a lot easier to just start from scratch. Like you just need like 5 tools to get everything going. Whereas if you download this, we'll call it free and open source bloatware, I guess we'll call it that. When you install this, it's like you have so much stuff on your system that you don't need. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like it's somebody else's keybinds. It's like putting on somebody else's clothes and like walking around outside. Doesn't make any sense. just make your own stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, we'll see where this goes. I do get a little bit of a vitriolic response when I see a video that says, something about Omarchy in the title, and I'm like, I don't really. Why are we astroturfing this? But it is what it is. I mean, it's probably a good thing for Linux because it's probably bring people into Arch and make people start learning about Arch. But I think Vimothée actually said this about NeoVim distributions in one of his videos. He said that if you start with like LunarVim or something, or what was the other NVChat
or LunarVim, NVChat, one of those. Yep.
And then you have a bug, right? And you search on either Google or an LLM, and you say, "How do I make this work in LunarVim?" Like you're not gonna figure that out, right? But if you're in NeoVim and you're just doing regular stuff, you're like, okay, how do I make this work in NeoVim? Like it's the same concept, right? Like you're not gonna really be able to figure it out.
You're troubleshooting in a much smaller ecosystem with less tutorials, less documentation, and so on.
Exactly. But yeah, overall, like I think I have given it a lot of unnecessary hate, to be honest with you, like privately with you guys, because it is free and open source software at the end of the day, and it's somebody else's dot files. It's kind of cool. I think it's like, it probably is like pretty cool, but it's just not something that I'd ever need, right? Because I've already spent so much time like configuring my system. So, and if anybody asks me like, would I recommend it to anybody? No, I would not recommend that to anybody. So, I don't know.
Not even someone completely new. Go, Hendrik. I'm sorry.
I basically have the same question. Like, I've neverized a Arch configuration, But I feel at some point there's no way around that. I'll eventually end up there. And so if you don't recommend something like Omarchy to start with, I'm wondering, like, what would you recommend for someone like me? Where should I start?
It's a good question. For someone like you, I would really recommend the base Arch ISO and then just install it straight up. Write down everything you use on your like on your Mac, like write down all the tools that you use, like, you know, whatever web browser you use, whatever kind of you know, NeoVim, WesTerm, like write all that stuff down, like on a piece of paper maybe, or like on a text file, and just ask an LLM, hey, how do I get all this stuff on Arch? And then it'll give you like all the package names, or you can even look at the Arch repo, but it's not going to take as much time as you think. I feel like debloating Omarchy would take days, whereas setting up like a decent workable Arch distro for somebody even like you who's never touched it would take like a day, maybe. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I think that just might be. That's
the question that I have as well. Same as Hendrik, right? Like, okay, I installed Arch. I don't know, some months ago. I didn't even log into the screen because someone told me that I had chosen the wrong greeter, because you have a lot of options, right? It's not like okay, and it's not specified like in the Arch wiki or somewhere like, okay, so if you choose this option, it means this. You can use it with this other option, with this other dependencies, whatever. So it's a lot of trial and error, right? You install it, then you realize, oh, fuck, that's not the one that I needed. I needed these other option, right? So Omarchy gives all of the options built in. Do you think it would take more time for me to debloat it, like you said, compared to learning?
I wouldn't use Omarchy. I would use something like Manjaro Linux, which is like an Arch fork that has like a desktop environment built into it already. And then you could just use that and then go from there. Like stuff like Manjaro Linux or Arco Linux or whatever, or Artix. Artix has like a couple ISOs that give you a desktop environment option. Endeavor OS is another one that Joshua Blais just pointed out in the IRC. But I would never use Omarchy because it's like somebody else's personal config dot files, whereas like these other distributions, I would actually consider them distributions because they're shipping with like just very, very default programs, and you're not going to like have to worry about the problems that you're talking about where you don't have a greeter or anything like that. You could just like check out Manjaro Linux because it has stuff built into it. Or I mean, honestly, you just give me a call. Just give me a call and I'll help you install Arch and I'll get you sorted in like 1 day or less, dude. Like you don't need a distribution for it. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
I'm not selling it on you, dude. You really want Omarchy, huh, man? Like it seems like it's something that you're really interested in, bro.
No, I'm not interested in it, but I see it everywhere, and I'm like, okay, I have done this for way too long on macOS, man, and I already spent my workflow hours in macOS. I have put hundreds of hours in all this, you know, not only macOS but NeoVim, and I'm tired. I'm like, I don't want to deal with any of this shit anymore, right? I don't want to start from scratch in Linux. It's like, no. It's like if I would switch over to Emacs right now, it would be a pain, man. It would be too painful. It would be too much, right? Because
I'll tell you this. It's going to be more painful to go to whatever it's called,
the O word,
and then debloat it and get Kanata up and running on all that whatever crap, than it is to just go from Arch default and get everything set up, or go to Manjaro Linux, or go to Arco Linux, or even go to my uncle's distribution, DTOS, go straight to his OS. And like, it's all going to be hard for you because you have such a unique setup with Kanata, and you have Yabai and all this kind of other, you've got Raycast, I think, which we're going to get into later. I don't know, that was a smear, but yeah, I think it's just, my point is, it's just going to be a lot more work than needed. Like, I think you're viewing it as like maybe a potential friction reducer, but I think it's a friction increaser. So, you know, I don't know. In my mind, like, I can't see this situation ever helping somebody's workflow. I think it's always just going to make it harder and worse because it's, like I said, I keep saying it as a joke, but it's just somebody else's dot files. I don't know. Imagine if I took your dot files and put them on my computer and said, here's my new distro. And I don't even know, I have to hold S for like 4 seconds or 3 seconds or 2. I don't remember. Is it that opens a new kind of thing? Like, where's my D menu? I don't have D menu. I've got something else, some proprietary garbage with I hold D, and it changes every single day. And no, that's not going to happen, man. I'm not doing that. So like, that's what you're describing to me. You know what I'm saying?
But Tony, I mean, just to see one example and learn from. Look, I'm a fan of learning from someone who has done it before and who's kind of an expert at a field. And I feel like with Omarchy, I would get at least some best practices. Someone has kind of figured it out. Maybe I don't like a lot of things, but at least I see once how it can be done. And then I can later pick the best parts and throw away what I don't need. For example, when I was learning NeoVim and started with LazyVim and AstroVim, I mean, at the end, I built my own config, but at least there were some sensible keybinds and stuff. And when I learned it, I didn't even know that some of these keybinds, or like, I would have no idea where to place some custom keybinds because I wouldn't even know that they don't conflict with a built-in keybinds because I was just a total noob and I didn't know anything about NeoVim. So, but just that and having like a pre-built set that has sensible keybinds, at least would tell me, okay, this is something that I can use. Then maybe later I can set up something else or whatever, but at least to get started,
because do you think they're sensible keybinds because it's DHH that made it, or do you think
no,
is that what
no, just because they, I mean,
because DHH is beautiful,
I don't know the keybinds, but yeah, quote me on that.
Well, because what I'm saying is, if you install DHH, if you install Omarchy or whatever it's called today, your NeoVim config, you're gonna have to RMRF, whatever, so local nvim, whatever, and then git clone your nvim, and then that's one aspect of it. But I feel like there's not much to configure, like as far as the workspace management stuff, because you're not using yabai, right? You're just using the default macOS workspaces, or no?
No, I'm using Caribbean Elements.
Okay.
Like custom window management solution.
Yeah. So you already have your finger on the pulse for like what binds work for you, right? Like switching between workspaces and stuff.
Yes. I mean, specifically regarding the keybinds, I was more referring to NeoVim. For example, I don't know, in AstroVim, you open File Explorer with leader E. And that's kind of what I stuck to until this day because, it kind of makes sense, right? I adopted it from Astro.
Yeah.
And back then, not knowing anything, I would think, okay, where do I put my File Explorer shortcut? Like, should it be Control E? Should it be Control T? I don't know, whatever. And this just gives me one idea and one best practice that seems to work for a lot of people. And if I don't know any better, then I can just take that, Maybe it's the same with Omarchy in some ways.
I agree with your idea, but I've looked at like the keybinds for the Omarchy, and it's just his personal preference. And I understand that like some person's personal preference might be better than like the average person off the street because they spent hours and years developing it and stuff. But like, let's take René, for example. Like, I don't want to use Comic Sans just because he's a kernel developer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want his preferences like in my dot files. So I'm just like, I get what you're saying, and I see you're trying to be charitable, but I think for you personally, since you have everything already dialed, there's not actually much for you to configure. I know that sounds crazy, but like, it seems like it would be faster for you to just install your dot files because you have dot files. You have nvim, you have tmux dot files. Like you already have a bunch of dot files, so it's like you just install that stuff and then go from there. You know what I mean? I guess you could start with Omarchy and then debloat it. Actually, it would be kind of curious. I would like to see maybe one day if we could sit down.
How debloatable it is.
And see how long it takes to debloat it, yeah.
That would be a nice video. Because, okay, I watched DistroTube's video on Omarchy. Nobody knows how it's pronounced, not even DHH. But I watched this video, and the keybinds, you bring up the menu. I didn't like them. I hated them. So I have my keybinds already. If I want to go to an app, I already know how to go to my browser, my terminal, how to go to YouTube, how to go to ChatGPT, I already know. And I will want to have the exact same key maps in Omarchy. I'm not going to use, what does it use as the keyboard mapping solution? Is it the window manager? I assume that's it, right?
Hyperland controls all that stuff, yeah.
Okay, I don't want that. I want to control that in Canada. So I'm going to install it on top of Omarchy and just delete all the key maps in there. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is possible. You just have to remove all the keybinds from the config file.
What would be the point? I mean, just migrating for the sake of migrating?
It seems
You
that
know?
it's stable as well. Is that?
What do you mean stable? Wait. What do you mean stable?
Yeah,
What does
I
that
knew
mean?
that was for Tony directly. I was
What
gonna
the hell are
ask
you talking about?
I was
What
gonna
do you
ask
mean? Is
you
it stable?
that it seems that it runs pretty neat on hardware. Well, I'm not gonna get old hardware or anything like that. It's gonna run. It doesn't matter what distro I run. It's gonna run properly.
Okay, okay. The reason I wish it was proprietary because then I could hate on it more. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh,
I almost said it's proprietary. It's just garbage. It's not proprietary garbage. It's just garbage. It's just garbage.
There it is.
It's a garbage wrapper for an Arch install. That's all it is. It's a glorified Arch install, which takes, for me, it takes 4 minutes. For anybody who wants to install Arch with a script, they can already do that. If you want to watch my video, you can. It'll take you 10 minutes to install Arch. And then you install, it installs like 100 programs. And then it has these defaults that are not saying they're somebody else's. It's like going out with somebody else's wife. Like, what are you doing? And so you got all this stuff on top of already something that's, there's no point, dude. It's just, to me, there's no point. Honestly, I can't in good faith recommend it to anybody. So if you're somebody who wants to learn Arch Linux and you're afraid of like looking at a scary terminal and having nothing there, just download Manjaro Linux, Endeavor OS, one of these already existing things that's not being astroturfed by Basecamp or whatever company this guy works for. You know what I'm saying? But if you're linkarzu and you're not going to switch to Arch Linux. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You're going to the Debian stable, right? You're going to the
Debian. Yeah, like the king.
So you can't even
like
use Omarchy. You got to wait for Odebian or whatever it's going to be coming.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But as far as Henry goes, like I think if you're going to switch to Arch Linux at some point,
No, Temple
probably-
OS, if anything.
what's that?
Temple OS, if anything.
Exactly. See, now you're in the ballpark. See, now we're talking my language. I feel like I just ranted for a while now, but like that's my whole thing is like it's awesome that somebody put his dot files out there. I love that. I don't love it being shoved in my face as a product. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to give linkarzu's dot files as a product.
I don't have the money.
It's a new distro. Well, you don't have the corporate sponsorship behind it.
I don't have the money to promote them that way, and I don't have the connections because you need to have the name, right? If I wouldn't have the name and ThePrimeagen and TJ, well, TJ hasn't made any videos about Omarchy, I think, but if big names would support my dot files, they would be popular.
Do you think it's suspicious that it's
you would hate them?
Don't you think it's suspicious though a little bit that it's somebody's dot files that are just like that person cares so much and he wants everyone to use his dot files? Isn't that a little bit weird to you?
I don't know. I share mine.
You don't know? But do you go out of your way and say, hey, and then make a video and then like stare at the camera like an alien and say, use my dot files. Like, you got to use my dot files. It's really important that everyone in my life, you got to use my dot files. Are you really going to, you see what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not doing that. You're just saying, here's my dot files. If you want them, here you have them. And in fact, isn't it annoying when you do share your dot files and then somebody randomly pings you and says, hey, this doesn't work for your dot files and da-da-da-da-da. Like, isn't that a little bit annoying? Do you even want that bandwidth? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have a point there. I don't know.
Like, what's going on there? It's suspicious to me. Could
it be that he hates Apple so much, right? Because he was like Apple, 100% Apple, and he was like an Apple shill. Is that how you kids call it? Apple shill, right? So he was like the biggest Apple representative out there, right? But
yeah,
I don't know. He had a fight with Apple because of some charges, whatever, right? So could it be possible that he hates Apple so much right now and he's excited about Linux? I don't know, man. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep, we can hear you.
I'm not sure if it's me or...
We can hear you.
Okay, but for me, everything was breaking up.
Oh, okay. Can you hear us right now, Hendrik, or no?
Yeah, you're coming back on. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So basically, linkarzu asked you, I guess, if you know anything about like what do you think the reason is for why he's so aggressively pushing this on people? Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's not. Maybe it just happens to be a coincidence that every video is about Omarchy and he just loves sharing his dot files with everybody. I don't know. Maybe he just loves doing that.
I haven't thought about it, to be honest. I don't have a conspiracy theory on that. But
yeah.
That's...
Yeah. Because to me, to be extremely charitable, let's just assume 100% good faith, and let's just say that this guy's very passionate about this project, and he wants people to kind of check it out and say, "Hey, I want to spread my project to everybody because I think it's pretty cool." Like, let's just assume let's say that's the best case, right? Well, okay, that's cool, man. That's awesome. Like, but me, no thanks. I've got my dot files already set up. But is that really the case where you're going to pay somebody $5,000 to fork Chromium to make it, specific for your use case? I mean, come on, are you passionate about your own project so much so that you're going to pay somebody some money to fork Chromium and put that into your distribution of Linux? That's just your dot files compiled with an install script. I'm not mad. I promise I'm not even mad about this. I'm not.
Imagine if you were.
I know. It'd be crazy, right? It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. You see what I'm saying, Link, or no? You feel me or not really?
No. Yeah. I get it. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to go through the pain of installing Arch. That's it. I don't even want to install Arch. Like you said, Tony, okay? I'm going to stick to macOS because it works for me. I don't have any beef with macOS. I just want to get my job done. I want to create my videos. I want to do these live streams. macOS allows me to do that. I don't want to figure it out on Linux. It's fine. I don't have a reason to leave macOS. But if I ever do, I don't want to go through the pain of configuring and installing Arch and translating my setup into it, which I will have to do anyway. It doesn't matter if I run vanilla Arch or if I run Omarchy. So if I need help, I'll reach out and I'll ask you, because there's a lot of questions that someone coming from macOS has moving over to Linux. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of stuff that you don't know, right?
Yeah, but I think like this whole concept of asterisk y. Mm-hmm. What it is it's an ISO, so it technically is a distro, right? But there's something else that exists already that's, in my opinion, like a way better solution for you, and that's DTOS. Mm. You just take that. Mm. So that's somebody that's, in my opinion, he's not astroturfing he just made it as passionately, hey, this is my OS. People keep asking me for my dot files, like here it is. So DistroTube just made his dot files like into an OS, basically, right? Like, and it's got all of his defaults and everything. And I don't feel like that's being pushed by, I don't even want to say names, but it's being pushed by like the, Sylvan's girlfriends of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not something that you're seeing all over the place, but it's, but it's DTOS. He's just passionate about his own dot files and stuff. And I think you already know that. You already know DT, right? So you can say, hey, like I'm going to install your operating system and I'm excited, right? And then you can make a video, say, hey, I installed DTOS. Like that's your buddy. You know what I mean? Like that, so it's like, I would point you to that instead because it's Arch based, right? So that's what I would go with.
Okay. Now, Hendrik, what are your thoughts on Linux as a macOS user in the long term? What are your plans? Because even if you don't know it right now, unconsciously you think about, it. Don't talk crap. You know that you're gonna stay on macOS, or that eventually you're gonna move to Linux, right? I think I know that I'm gonna stay on macOS. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of married to macOS, but I have a crush on Linux kind of situation. So the thing is, most of my work is done, at work. And at work, I have a MacBook. So, I mean, I could have chosen a Linux as well, but everyone on my team is on Mac. And if I was the only Linux guy, it would make things a lot harder because I'm also developing a lot of internal tools and stuff like that. And I'm helping people a lot with the environment setup and tooling and stuff like that, and it would just be even harder if I had a completely different machine. And then I'm not sure if I would even have the possibility to use Arch. I would probably get like a Ubuntu pre-installed machine or something like that. So it would be quite limited as well. So given that most of the work that I do anyways has to be done on Mac, I might as well just go all in on that and optimize for it, because otherwise I have my Arch at home, and the thing is, like at home, like my private workflows are mainly video editing at this point. And I heard that getting DaVinci Resolve to run on Arch is like super hard and not straightforward at all. And
what do you have to say about that, Tony?
And then let's say even if that was super smooth and I had like the optimal Arch workflow, if the keybinds differ from what I have on Mac, which I have to use at work, then I just can't build muscle memory that works universally for all the computers that I'm working on. So yeah, I would love to use Linux and get like my Arch configuration going and use that everywhere, but then there's also a bit of realism having to work with Mac, and it can be quite good as well. I mean, maybe not as smooth, buttery smooth and perfect, but it can be quite decent.
Yeah. It's a good point, right? You want to remove friction, right? You don't want to increase it. Like you've got a lot of stuff going on in your life and you don't want to make it harder, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But now, unleash the beast, Tony. What would you say to a macOS user? Because I'm also a macOS user and I'm on the same
Yeah.
boat as well. I don't have a reason to stay on macOS, because I had to use macOS at the previous company that I was in
Yeah.
right now. In the current company, I don't. I'm using Windows there. That sucks, man. That's horrible. But
Yeah.
I don't have a reason to stay on macOS, but I decided to stay on macOS because I just got used to it and I can customize it pretty well. If I see
Yeah.
that you guys on Linux do something and I feel inspired by it and it makes sense, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it on macOS. But if it's
Yeah.
like a scrolling window manager, I'm like, nah,
You
that's
already
not
have that built into the kit on macOS.
yeah,
Though,
kind of, with the
if you want
spaces and
it.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I grab inspiration from Linux, and I guess that a lot of like the Yabai creator, that was like the first window manager on macOS. I think he definitely comes from Linux. You cannot get that knowledge out of nowhere, right? So I guess there's a lot of cross, I don't know, platform inspiration going on between macOS and Linux. But what do you think about macOS? What would you say to a macOS user, Tony?
Yeah, so that's the thing is like I don't actually care what people do like with their own. Like here's my thing: if you're on Mac OS and you make and it works for you, like I think that's good. Keep doing your thing. Just my problem with it is that not only is it proprietary garbage, the issue is that the firmware is proprietary firmware garbage too, is to a point where it's planned obsolescence to a point where you're going to have to upgrade your laptop every couple of years because whatever new USB type C14 is now the new thing or whatever, and you can't charge it or whatever, or the battery all of a sudden like just randomly dies exactly 2 years after you buy it, and then you go to the the Emacs store and they say, oh well, actually you can't just replace it, we got to just buy you got to buy a whole new laptop or whatever, right? And it's not just Apple that's doing this. I told you this in our interview. Like ThinkPads are doing this too now. Basically, all these laptop companies are taking inspiration from the Apple products. Planned obsolescence business strategy because it's a good business strategy, but it's just terrible for the user. So I don't know. It's like I like to use old hardware, like older laptops, because you can just buy a battery from like eBay on it if the battery breaks for like $10, and you can put it in your laptop. You can upgrade the RAM and stuff. Like you cannot do that on a MacBook. You cannot do that on even a newer ThinkPad. So just that alone, I wouldn't use that or like recommend people use it. But if they already have like a MacBook and stuff, I'm not going to think less of them or judge them or anything like that. I'm actually a pretty nice guy, man. I don't know why you say unleash the beast. I just happen to have like a little bit of maybe emphasis with the proprietary garbage stuff, and maybe I don't like the Omarchy stuff as much. But if somebody wants to use Omarchy, that's all good. That's their choice, and I think it's cool, man. Totally cool.
Okay, cool. Yep. Another point that I have here is that on Mac OS, as a Mac OS user, if I create a video, there's always someone in my comments that's gonna be like, why don't you do that in Raycast, right? And if it's like window management related stuff, someone in the comment is gonna go, but you can do that in Raycast. Or if it's, I don't know, whatever it is, right? Clipboard manager, but you can do that in Raycast. Or keyboard mapping, you can do that in Raycast, but they don't understand that we are beyond Raycast, right? Raycast is for normies. Raycast is for beginners. And it's a cool tool for my grandma, for my dad, for my wife, I would install Raycast. And don't get me wrong, it's a good tool. I use it, I use it for a lot of different things, but does it deserve the place that it has in the macOS community? If you're not a power user, you don't know any better, right? But what are your thoughts? What do you think about Raycast, Henry?
I have quite strong opinions on Raycast, honestly. I'm not a huge fan, mainly because it's not very files friendly and it's quite bloated. So the thing is, it does a lot of very useful things, but then it does like 99% of the things that it does, I don't really need. I mean, it's cool that it's kind of a window manager. It has some AI integration. I like the clipboard history actually. What else does it have? It has program or app launcher kind of thing.
App launcher, yeah.
And a couple of other things. but I don't really need most of those things. And it's as Tony would say, proprietary garbage, right? It's even paid software, and they're trying to push you towards the paid tier. So I looked up how to back up dot files in Raycast, and it's quite tricky to do. There's not really an easy way to back up your Raycast configuration. And I've seen that even in the videos of Josian Martinez.
Yep.
He, I think, is also big on Raycast, and he has like this one video where he says, "This is my forever window management workflow," or something like that, and part of it is Raycast, which is cool. But then something that surprised me is that went very counter to what he's usually doing, is that he configured Raycast just by clicking in the GUI, and I thought that's not very dot files friendly and not very easy to replicate. And I believe the reason that it's not very dot files friendly is that they actually have this paid tier where who's that?
We just got an upgrade, boys. Come join me on IRC.
Yo.
Come join me on IRC.
All right.
This guy here, for whatever reason, I can only hear him on my left ear at all times. I don't know what that's about, but I like it. But keep going, Henry. Pretend like this didn't just happen. I
Okay,
just interrupted
I'm
your train of
super
thought.
confused. But, so
This is a
point
random
is,
guy joining.
Raycast is not very dot files friendly, and if you want to sync Raycast or your Raycast config, that's part of the pro tier. So they kind of make it hard to back up your dot files on purpose, I feel like, to push you on the pro tier, which I don't really buy. I think you can get most of the features and the stuff that you really need from better free and open source tools.
Right on, dude. See, that's what I'm saying. That's a champion of FOSS right there, man. He's trying to decentralize everything, and he's trying to kind of do it himself, DIY. And that's what I'm all for. So come join me on IRC is like the movement we need to be pushing right there. Like for people that tell you the Raycast stuff, and we'll get into introducing Joshua in a second here, but for the stuff that the Raycast comments, I'm kind of curious. Do you think they're paid people to tell you that, like in the comments, like literally, like when they say, "Can you do this on Raycast on all your videos?" Do you think that's somebody being paid by the Raycast company, like asking you to convert to Raycast?
That would be a big brain move if they did that.
So you wouldn't recommend Raycast then, Hendrik?
No, well, at least not for my workflow. I do think the clipboard history especially is a cool feature, but I'm sure there are other tools, free and open source tools out there just for that use case. Or for example, for the window management I don't know if it's window management, it's just resizing of windows. I just use Rectangle, which is like the super simple utility that is just designed for that purpose. And, in Carabiner Elements, which is a tool to remap your keyboard, which I anyways use, I just combine that with Rectangle, and I have kind of one layer that allows me to resize windows and another layer to switch between apps. And that works perfectly fine. And then I don't need that feature from Raycast, just the window resizing, and then get all the other bloat that comes with it and the AI features and they trying to chill the pro tier and all that. I don't really feel that's necessary.
Yeah. Someone sold us on Raycast, and I don't remember who it was, and it happened a long time ago.
I'm
And
wondering how far you're going to go without introducing Joshua.
yeah, where are you gonna end?
I was
You're
going to
just
say
going to
here.
let that sit, dude?
Okay.
You're just going.
Let's
just
pause
going.
for
I
a
like
little
it.
while. Let's pause
How's it
for a
going,
little
Henry?
while.
Hey,
Now-
Joshua.
You
Nice
know
to meet you.
Joshua, Henry?
Yes, from one of your videos.
Yeah.
Oh,
He has showed up in several of my videos. In the Neovim versus Emacs video, then he taught me about Emacs. We did 2 of those, right, Joshua? So
yes.
we've been in a lot of different videos. For people that don't know who Joshua is, here's the channel. Just go and subscribe. What is it? Emacs. He's on the other side. I'm sorry, guys. Emacs and Nix. God damn. What else? Like
They're going to come after you. man, if you-
IRC.
IRC.
Yes. Come and join me on IRC.
I love that video, man. I don't even know where it came from, but I was like, just look at the camera and say, join me on IRC.
Yeah. Crazy, man. But we were talking right now. Oh, yeah. We were talking about Raycast. I don't think you know what that is, Josh, but
I do, because my girlfriend has a Mac. And
based.
it's like a it's like a discount version of D menu.
It's a budget D menu. I don't even want to give it that title. I would say it's not even a budget D menu. It's a budget. Let's see, what is it? A budget? It's a budget Windows key when you're on the Windows machine. You press Windows.
What are your thoughts on Raycast, Joshua?
I see what they're trying to do. The fact that like you have to pay to like. That being said, before I start with that, there are some pretty decent features that are like default with it. So I'll give them that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's proprietary garbage in the words of the guy above me. So,
Oh yeah. Henry also said that too. So it wasn't just me.
yeah, man,
Popularizing it.
yeah, I mean, wasn't Alfred a thing before?
Alfred is the other one. Yep.
Yeah.
What's Alfred?
Alfred.
I heard that before.
Yeah, it's just an app switcher as well, Henry, but it looks old. Looks like it, but it actually was invented in the 80s. I don't know when, but it looks old and horrible. But a lot of people use Alfred because it was what was before of Raycast, actually. But it's also a paid application switcher, and it has a lot of built-in features, and you can Raycast, but older. What was before Raycast, actually.
Man, I'll say about Mac, they want to charge you $5 for a widget in your toolbar. Like, I just don't get it, man.
It's not only that, but you're going to have to probably upload a picture of your government ID to download Raycast at some point. And that's why I think you guys should just come join me on IRC.
It could be, man. We don't know where all of this is gonna end.
But
Next
yeah.
screen real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
You ready?
Yeah. How do I do it?
There.
Ah,
We're
yes.
looking at your screen.
Yeah, so this is the Raycast website, right? And this is where they showcase one of the AI features. And I mean, just by this showcase, I mean, you can sort of tell who this is designed for, right? Like the type of person who would ask an AI how to exit Vim. And I don't know. I mean, this is cool, but I don't really need that right now.
I love the way you're like, look, this is the perfect example, right? Look at their target audience. This is either a joke or literally this is their target audience of people who don't know how to exit Vim. You know what I mean? And
It's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah. But another way to exit Vim is literally just don't use Vim. You know, just use Emacs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay.
But no, I know what you mean. When you can see on like the target audience and you can see this kind of like, you can see some of this stuff and you're like, I don't, it's not, that's how I feel about the O word, right? I know we were talking about it. Like, I don't even need that. I don't, yeah, exactly. Like Voldemort's OS or whatever. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you guys want me canceled before I even make it, man. This is on my channel. No, but it's good. It's good. I want this to be honest. And yeah, go on,
I'm just
Tony.
being straight up. Yeah, no, I just think like as he was saying, like I don't know. Actually, Josh, I'm kind of curious. What do you think about the O word? I know you're seeing a lot of it. You can't really ignore it. But what do you? I mean, I already know.
I'm just going to do a video on it.
Okay, cool. Well,
Just kidding.
he says, "Just kidding." I love it. Do you think there's a Bitcoin miner hiding somewhere in one of those dot files?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many people make videos about it, and I'm like, because like people are making arguments like, oh, like the hotkey setup is so like opinionated. And I'm like, well, it's hyperlink. You can literally go into the dot files and change it in 2 seconds. Like, what are you talking about? It's opinionated. Like you can go change anything in it, right? I think it's a good introduction to Linux for people that have never used Linux before. So I'll hand that one to them on a silver platter. But I mean, part of the fun and the involvement of Linux is trying to install Arch Linux for
Here comes the
a
next
day and
bill.
a half.
Here comes the next
Right?
bill. Mm-hmm.
And then moving over to Nix OS because it just solves all of your. No,
I mean, you're not going to get any pushback from me on that one, right?
no, I mean, I think you guys touched on it, but like part of the love of Linux is that like it's the struggle to get things working and to make it into everything that you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
And if it's handed to you on a silver platter, then it's just Windows or Mac, right? And then how does that make your life any better? Okay, maybe you've broken free from the constraints of those two ecosystems, but you don't know how to do anything else. So you don't know how to customize things. You don't know how to change anything about it. And I mean, most of the bloatware on that thing is already questionable to me.
Yeah.
So VS bleep? What? What is that? What is that doing on here?
Yeah. I love it. No, and I think especially from somebody like you who has one file that's a literate config file for their entire life, pretty much, outside of like touching grass.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to want to go to use something else. Like you've already set up your whole life in one file. You know what I mean? Like if you look at your commits on GitHub, like you have like a bunch of commits every single day. I know that's got to be like to-do notes that are just like a one click on a keybind with GNU Emacs. There's no way you're actually Git committing.
Just read me
exactly.
changes.
Exactly. Read me changes.
Documentation.
So you don't need a distro. I don't know. I keep hating on it for some reason because I want to hate on. You know what I mean? Like we need an enemy. We need a common enemy here, and that's going to be has to be the Omarchy setup. I feel like it's got to be. But we're fighting the wrong battle, though, right? I mean,
I agree. Yeah.
And what's going to happen? What's going to happen when Blais creates his Omarchy video, or when Henry Misk creates his Omarchy video? What's going to happen there? Is the relationship over, Tony?
No, man. I think because you guys are awesome. You guys are great people. So I think what will happen is you won't do that to me, right? No, I'm just kidding. If you guys make a video on the O word and I don't watch it, we just don't be offended. You know what I'm saying? I'll comment and like to get some more eyeballs on it, but I'm not gonna probably not gonna watch it. You know what I'm saying? I'm kidding. I'll watch it. If you got I'm actually curious. Do you guys have plans on making a video about this thing or not really? I guess you have a video now. Editing this video will be like in your way. You can have a clip of us talking about it, right? And that'll be your video of it.
True.
Me, if I just run out of content, I had my Fraser with Arch already, Tony. And if I move over to Linux, it's not gonna be to play around. I am going to use the distro that men use. Of
the
course,
king distro,
the king distro, the grandpa distro, the daddy of all distros, Debian, just like Drew does. So if I move over to Linux, it's not gonna be to play around. I have my thoughts on Arch. I don't know why I would use Arch. I don't understand like the purpose. No, I don't know. I would go with Debian probably. Omarchy, I don't think so.
What if there was an ODebbie? Would you use that? Because I almost made you an ODebbie, basically. Remember when we were talking about me kind of making you like a bunch of dot files?
I'm waiting on that. Yeah.
But that's not ODebbie. That's just Linky, because that's literally all of your dot files for Debian. That's not for somebody else to ship, and then nobody could hold S for 4 seconds and open up a D menu or whatever.
That's like, crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
you got some wild opinionated. How do you hold S for 3 seconds and then you've got now a D menu in SCF?
Damn, yeah. Just look at this. You have to press it for the letter R, right? So if I type the R for 0.3 milliseconds, it shows up my daily notes, right? And if I press it again, just the letter R by itself, 0.3 milliseconds. Hold on, I did it too fast, right? So in a floating window in the terminal. So mine is really opinionated, and there's people that have installed my dot files and just use all of the stuff that I have. I don't understand how they do it, because if you guys would go into my dot files, it's just like a maze. It's just I have a lot of trash in there that I don't clean up, and a lot of experimental stuff that I don't delete, and it's crazy. But I don't know. Debian is what I would probably go with. What about you, Hendrik? What time is it for you, Hendrik? You have to drop already?
Yeah, I have to drop in like 10 minutes or so. Okay. For me, it's 2 a.m.
God damn.
So I'm getting a bit tired, but no, I would not make a video about Omarchy, but just because it's not time for me to switch to Linux right now, because I'm wondering what do I stand to gain in terms of workflow, and then potentially there's a lot to lose. I mean, I get that what you mentioned earlier, Tony, about being independent of big tech companies and like independent of planned obsolescence and that kind of stuff. And that makes a lot of sense to me, and that's a good goal to aspire to. But then, I also just get a laptop from work, and then I also need to work with that. And then, I kind of need to optimize that as well, because that's where I do most of my work anyway. So, I don't know. Maybe at some point it will be time for me to switch to Linux, but it's not time right now, so it doesn't really make sense to make a video about Omarchy either.
Well, because you do have a GigaChat response. Like if you, let's say your cousin or your friend drops their MacBook into a river, right? They can just use the iCloud and sync up all their stuff, and they just get a new MacBook and be fine, right? So like that's what is the GigaChat response. You just go buy a new one, right? So I mean, who cares about planned obsolescence when you can just go buy a new one, because of how productive you are? Let's say you're like 10x on a MacBook and you make like 10x the salary because you're 10x the developer. Just buy another one, you know?
I mean, that is part of the reason why I switched to iPhone now, because in my latest video, I mentioned this story. I think that's
what I was referencing,
yeah, exactly. So because a friend of mine, she was running, and her iPhone fell out of her pocket on a bridge into a river, and then bad luck, right? But she just walked into the next Apple store, got a new iPhone, and then had everything restored and was able to go about her day as usual. Of course, it costs money. That sucks. But in terms of you're paying for being able to just forget about your tech. You know, it just works. You have something that you can just use, and that's at the end of the day what you're paying for. And I think that's also a fine perspective as long as you can afford it and it doesn't really bother you too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we let you go, Henry, how much time do you have left, Tony?
I probably do like another half hour.
Okay. Let's just read this super chat, then we can talk with Joshua about Nix if you guys want, or whatever other topics you guys want to touch on. Okay, so
IRC, we have to talk about IRC.
IRC, yeah,
Oh, baby.
that's a good point. Actually, pretty good point. It says here, do you guys only develop for one platform? Complaining about change or including another platform bug you that much? Music in my time was the best. Do you guys understand what this means? Just one platform.
I know the first part. I don't know what the last part is.
About change or
No, I don't understand the last sentence. Music in my time was the best. Is that a lyric?
No, that's probably because the music in my time was the best, like in the 80s, you know, like Earth, Wind and Fire and all that stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
But what does this mean? Complaining
He's saying like, he's saying, do you ever like, do you develop on Mac for Mac all the time? Or do you develop on Linux and Mac and Windows and stuff? And then he's saying like complaining about changing like platforms. Does it really bug you that much? And I think it's a pun, right? Because he says bug, like, does it create bugs for you? Maybe it's a pun, or am I overthinking it?
I don't know.
Might be.
It's deeper than we think. GenX, what are you trying to say here? Elaborate for us. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. Really appreciate that. But what do you guys do? Do you guys develop, like you, Hendrik? What do you develop for? Do you develop for macOS? Do you develop for? Yeah, of course you do, right? How does that work?
Doesn't really matter. Like most of my work is in Python, and it runs in the cloud. Like it's mostly MLOps what I'm doing. So yeah, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Like I don't produce any software applications that are shipped to clients or something like that. So as long as it runs in a Lambda function or an instance or something like that in a container, then it's completely fine.
Okay.
You know, now that I think about it, Henry would be the perfect candidate for a Nix transfer. Like for all of his stuff to be Nixified.
Yeah.
Because he just is MLOps. And MLOps is I'm not even joking. It's got a good overlap with DevOps. So I think it's like, he would actually be like, kind of love NixOS, I think. Too much, I think.
It'd be mind blown, dude.
I think it would be kind of a rabbit hole that you'd go too far down. Yeah, it's a WFE thing for sure.
But the problem, or the reason I have not really looked into Nix as much, is because I never really felt the pain point of like, you know, I'm not setting up so many machines in my life. Like I just have my MacBook set up and that's it. And I guess the main benefit of Nix is that you're able to reproduce your environment very easily, which is not something that I do very often. So do you think I could still benefit from it?
Well, I think you definitely can benefit from a lot of other things about it. But, you know, we could tell that would be like an hour-long conversation. That's 2 to 3 hours right there. So I'll leave it at that for now, and we'll chat about it later, I think. But yeah, he definitely would be able to benefit a lot from it, I think.
Yeah, hop on the IRC. We'll chat about it.
100%.
Okay. Now Hendrik has to leave because it's 2 a.m. We can keep here, Tony and Josh. Anything you want to say before you drop, Hendrik?
Oh, it feels I'm being kicked out now.
No. You're not being kicked
No,
out.
Stick around, man.
But if you want to stay, that's wonderful, man. But it's if you're tired and if you have to
No.
leave.
Honestly, it's 2 a.m. for me, so I'm out of here. But man, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for setting this up, Link, and nice to meet you, Josh, and also nice to meet you, Tony, in sort of a more real setting than Discord chat.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. I guess I have to look into Nix next, and yeah, thanks everyone, thanks chat, and peace out. I'm out of here.
Peace, Hendrik.
Bye, Hendrik.
Later, Henry.
Bye. Have a good rest of the day. Take care.
Yeah. And that guy sucks. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Oh man.
no, Henry's awesome, man. That's cool. He stayed up till 2 a.m. to chat about the O word and Nix OS and stuff. It was great stuff.
Yeah. Now, what is this
So
going to
what-
become? Two
Before
Nick
we get
girls.
into anything else, I have one question real quick. Joshua, do you have
Go.
a compressor or something that is making it so that your audio is only going out into the left ear, or is that in
Oh, that might be. No, hold on. Let me see.
No,
if
but
can
I
do some
hear it in
settings.
both ears right now. You hear
Hear
it
it?
just in one, Tony?
I can only hear it in my left ear, yeah.
Hmm.
Really?
Weird.
Yeah. And it was also one of your videos. I know somebody made a comment saying like, "Oh,
my left ear left the chat or
That
something.
was my bad. That was my bad because I was recording in OBS and I recorded in mono instead of stereo, and
What was the
So-
comment? What was the comment, Tony?
my left ear enjoyed this video or loved this video.
Yeah.
yeah." So
Oh,
you saw that comment too, Link?
Yeah, I saw it too, and I thought it
Well,
was
so-
pretty funny.
Can you guys confirm though, or like, is the chat, can they confirm? Because I can only hear you in my left ear, man. I don't know how a Link can hear you in both.
I can hear him in both. Can you hear me
Maybe
in
your
both,
head-
Tony?
Yeah, both. But I think your
Okay.
headphones might be different setup than mine.
Is chat say anything?
They
Chat.
say you can hear you fine.
But-
So.
Okay, sweet.
Are they wearing headphones? That's the thing.
The
'cause
reason
they're-
I'm paranoid about it is because it happened to you in a video before, right? So if I
know.
go like this, I can't hear you.
I just
So like this is me not hearing you, and then this is better.
I feel like I'm just getting chirped.
I promise I'm not trolling. I promise. But it's okay. We'll move on. So anyway, Link, you were about to say, is this going to become?
Yeah. Well, what is this gonna become right now? Is it gonna become? You guys watched the old video, two girls, one. So is it gonna become like two Nicks, two Nicks aficionados, one macOS user, or what?
Well,
Whatever
I
you
mean,
want it to become.
yeah, I think I'm curious because Josh is here too. So I'm actually more curious now about like now that we can actually 2v1. It's not a 1v3. I thought it was going to be a 1v3, me versus 3 proprietary garbage Mac OS users, but now it's a 2v1.
I'll flip the
Yeah,
script.
yeah.
So now we have a script flipped here. So I'm going to ask you, Link. I'm going to interview you.
I
What
need
is it-
I need
let
another
me-
macOS user from the
let-
chat to
let me-
join
let
the
me-
call, so we can fight these two demons.
Let me be Link here. Let me lean back here. I'm going to run the show here. So Link, let me ask you. I have a lot of questions about this, and I'm very curious about this. Why is it that you use proprietary garbage and you're okay with it?
Let me think. Because
Because
it's
I know
awesome.
it's a safe space. This is a safe space. You
yeah,
can
yeah,
you can say.
Because it's awesome and it works, man.
But why are you a vegetarian then?
Oh, vegetarian? Are you vegetarian as well, Josh? No, right?
No.
No. Yeah.
Because if your logic is because it's awesome, and then that's why. I mean, red meat is awesome, and that's why. So why don't you eat? You know what I'm
meat.
saying?
Yeah. I guess I started with macOS at my previous job, right? Because you're given a Mac.
Yeah.
And I had Windows back then. I never used Linux. Well, I used Linux like 15 years ago, Ubuntu. I installed it, and I just ran with Ubuntu for a couple of months, and yeah, I didn't go deep there. But at my previous job, I was given this Mac, so I installed it, and I don't know how I ended up in the ThePrimeagen's video. Before the ThePrimeagen's video, my workflow was trash. It was what we were talking about a little while ago, right? My big monitor was all over the place. But after watching that video from Prime, I had a Mac. That was a computer that I was using at work, that Mac. So I just said, I want to do what Prime does on my computer. I didn't have any other computer, just that specific one. So I did it on Mac, and I haven't moved ever since. I haven't had a reason to move away from Mac. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't you feel like? But don't you feel like it's you're fighting your operating system, or is that something you never have that issue? Like with this Raycast crap, like all this stuff that like you have to have sign into your iCloud account to do anything. Like, why would you need to sign into an account to use your computer?
oh, you don't need to. It's not like Windows.
I mean, I know you don't need to, but like, do you do it? I mean, you could be honest with us.
yeah.
Do you have as
I do
so why
it.
do you do that? Why
I do it because
Doesn't it make everything easier on your computer if they make it on purpose? They shove it down your throat, like, oh, you have to increase your storage because otherwise everything's going to save to a different folder, not your home folder. And by the way, your home folder is unavailable by default on Finder because we want to make it like
so
really hard.
weird, eh?
You see what I'm saying? Like, why are you going through the trouble of fighting all that when you just come join me on IRC?
no, because all of my stuff, well, it's anyway on proprietary garbage platforms. All of my stuff is in GitHub, right? My notes and everything. But there's some files that I want to keep in my Mac. Like there's some Word documents for homework that I do, or basic stuff like that I store in iCloud. That is nice to have when I log into iCloud again in another computer. But I don't use Apple services too much. iCloud is just a minor part of it.
Yeah, but they kind of force you into it, though. I mean, I don't know, Josh. What do you think about that?
Yeah, like the thing about Mac for me has always been the fighting of the operating system, specifically when you're just like installing packages. Like just something as simple as that. It's like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? Really, really? And then it's like, why do I have to click anything? I installed this via Homebrew. Why am I having to click this? Like, you know what I mean? Like they treat you like a toddler. That's the issue that I have with Mac.
Yeah.
And I've thought about going to Mac because of the video workflow and the fact that the hardware is, I mean, it's the AMD stuff is catching up pretty quick, but the hardware for battery life and stuff is good. I'll give you that. But it's like, I just don't want to fight this thing to get 70% of the way that I could on Linux. I think that's the thing with it, is that it, for me, I've definitely thought about it, but that click of the button to be like, are you really sure? I just feel so stupid when I use the system that I'm like,
yeah,
that's how I feel about Debian.
But it's the way that you use it. You know,
no, I'm just kidding.
I use macOS, in a pretty customized way, and I have adapted it to my workflow. Yeah. I use
think differently.
My keybinds and all that, but you do have to fight with it to be able to do a lot of stuff, like Tony says, right? Like the window manager, for it to work perfectly, you have to log into, like the fail mode, we could say, like safe mode, and disable some macOS specific stuff so that it lets you do something at a deeper level, so that it lets the window manager do stuff.
I was going to ask you that, isn't it? You have to go in and you have to actually disable something security-wise in the system to be able,
System integrity protection is what you have to disable, so that that macOS allows yabai to do certain things, right? You do it only once. You don't have to fight it a lot, right? You do that once you have your apps installed. You don't have to fight it that much. I guess the people that have to fight it the most are developers, right? Because let's say the new version that came out right now, macOS 26, the glassy thing. Have you guys seen it?
No.
I've seen memes about it, but I haven't seen it like on device.
It changed a lot of stuff. So I guess if you're a developer, it's not fun to develop for macOS. Every time they make a change, they have to find new ways to hack stuff around it. But me as a user, I don't have to fight it that much. The pop-ups that Joshua mentioned, but it's only one time, right? You install all of your apps at once. You select allow, 10 minutes after, you're good. As long as you have a good install script, of course, right?
Look at this. He's got the 1v2 now. He feels the pressure. He feels like he has to rationalize in code while he uses it.
I was going to give you a funny anecdote. I installed my girlfriend a few years back. She had like a 2015 MacBook Pro, and it was the end of the life for it. So I installed Manjaro GNOME on it. It would have been Intel, yeah.
Okay.
So I installed Manjaro GNOME on it, and she was like, okay, there's a couple differences, but it's pretty good. She got a new M2 Air. She's been running for a couple of years. And the other day, she's just like, man, file system on this computer is garbage. I think I should go back to Linux. I think I should go back to GNOME.
And she
She
moved
likes
that.
Nautilus better than Mac Finder.
Bro, the issue with the home folder, like
No,
I
yeah.
don't-
The one I just brought up. The one I just
I
brought
do
up.
agree.
Yes.
100%
What
agree
is
with
that?
you guys.
What is
Finder
that,
is
dude?
Finder is trash. 100%.
Do you have like a separate? Do you have a separate like tool that you use? I mean, I guess you could just use the terminal, but like, do you have a separate GUI application you can use for the file manager?
What I do,
macOS?
yep. What I do, let me show you. Hold on, real quick. Let me see if I have something here that I cannot show. Here.
it bugs me to no end when I use your computer though, and I'm like, where are my files, man?
Yeah.
This is a Unix-based operating system. What are they trying to do here? They want to be different. That's what think differently means. Is they remove the Unix file system, they remove home, and they thought differently.
This is what I use. It's another application. It's called Forklift, and you get 2 panes to move stuff around. But that's not the one that I use the most. I use this other like small tool that shows up there. You guys see that? So when I'm like in my browser or something, I just bring it up with the key and I drag whatever I need to drag. So it keeps track.
What's the license on Forklift? Why is it not GPL? It's literally has its own proprietary.
All of the stuff that I use is proprietary garbage, man. All of it. I even pay for a subscription. There's a there's a like a Netflix of apps that is called Setup. That has a lot of apps.
No.
Yeah. So it's 100% proprietary stuff what I use on macOS.
So look, what you're looking at here is the file manager, right? Like, let's say you want to change some stuff about like let's say you want to add or remove like a feature from this.
Oh no, that is locked in. You cannot do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't you be happier if like you could just go into the file and change it, recompile it from source, and have your own like custom version of a file manager?
No, man.
No?
Why would I want to do that? Like. Hold on.
What do you mean? Why, dude? You spent like a year optimizing your keyboard to hold S for 3. How do you? Okay, you have holding R for 3 seconds. Do something special, right? What happens when you want to type the word yellow in Spanish?
Type the word
and emphasize the R, like and just hold the R key instead of pressing it. Let's say you want to like you're writing a script or something like that, right? And you say like, oh, he said yellow, but he said, you see what I'm asking?
No, I don't understand. Because this thing was reading the message the whole time that you were talking. This super chat was screaming to my ear, reading whatever is typed here. So I couldn't hear you, Tony. So let me just read this. Hold on, and then I'll go back to you. Linux is fun for us techies. Cross development shouldn't be so irking, but enhance your skill. And multi-platforming. All folks use against change. Yeah, alt music is the best. So
what he's saying is that his first question was, are you guys having issues with cross development? And he's basically complaining that cross development should not be so annoying.
Sure.
And I don't ever do I don't do cross. I mean, I guess I am struggling right now with some cross development, but it's within Linux. It's because I'm making something to be packaged in Arch and in Nix and in Debian, and it's harder. It's a lot harder than I thought. So that is annoying, but that's not what he's talking about. I don't think.
With Nix, you can compile to any sort of you can compile to ARM or
exactly. Yeah.
Like you can compile within Nix to any source any destination that you want, right?
Yep.
So, I mean. Hypothetically, I just develop web stuff. I'm a what do they call us? A CRUD monkey.
A CRUD monkey. No, hold on. GenX, really appreciate the super chat, and also Xode or CISO.
So that guy is he's one of my I don't even know. He's one of my friends at this point now. He's in my Discord and he's been helping me work on this window manager that I've been working on. And he's like a really smart guy. He's like a really good developer. And he actually is talking about niri WM. He actually hates Wayland so much that he rebuilt the main function of niri WM in his own window manager for Xorg, and he calls it NWM. And he's been working on that. So him and I have been kind of testing each other's window managers. And he's a really cool guy. So he wanted to show you some love with the super chat.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. That helps a lot. So I guess like, why would I go through the trouble of, compiling my application? I'm just a normal guy, man. I'm just a normie, basically. That has worked on his Mac config, but compiling stuff and creating my own window manager, no, that's not something that I enjoy. And that's actually one of the reasons why I haven't even thought about Nix, because
Yeah.
seems tough. What do you guys have to say about Nix?
It's a learning curve for sure, like without a doubt. But I think the benefits, it actually is a paradigm shift in computing. When you understand what it is, declarative versus imperative package management, just on the surface level, is already huge, because I've had to install my system numerous times in the last 8 years, right? Imperatively going through all the steps to get my system working properly, even with scripting, even with any sort of tooling that I've built out, it was hell, because there wasn't a source of truth that I could go to have everything essentially just dictated as to what I need. With Nix, everything is declaratively managed. So nothing changes outside of my dot file, we'll call it, my configuration. And it's always source controlled. It's always backed up. There's no remembering things to do. There's no state management across that versus, oh, I need to run a system D service, or I need to start this thing, or I need to remember this command, this super obscure command that I'll never remember to do. It's all just essentially right there for you in Nix. Do I recommend people that are switching over to Linux to start on NixOS? No, because it's a completely, like, there's Linux, and then NixOS is like a paradigm shift away from Linux, is what I would say.
Yeah. And to add to that, there's a lot of people that get frustrated when they go over, they finally say, you know what, I'm going to put down Valorant and I'm just going to sign it off, and I'm going to actually just commit to Ubuntu, or I'm going to commit to Linux. Like, I'm done with Windows. And they install Linux and they install Arch. They go into Arch Linux. And then a couple weeks into it, they update their system and something doesn't work. And they go, you know what, I'm going back to Windows. Screw this. With Nix, if you update your system and something doesn't work, you just literally reboot. You can just reload back to the previous state that did work within 5 seconds. So that's also another big selling point. And also the dependencies that he was talking about. Like, let's say you have a package that depends on another package, and this one upgrades, and then this one breaks. You don't have that with Nix, because if you use Flakes, all of your dependencies are locked at specific versions. So you're never going to have that problem.
No.
So, I mean, this is through the weeds. This is like extra stuff that people don't, that's not level 1 type stuff like he was saying, but yeah.
No.
Yeah. For me, it's like, there's no other OS I could use anymore, because it solves so many problems in a holistic way that I'm just like, how had I not been using this for like the last 5 years?
Now,
Like,
has it broken for you guys? Like, because we're just talking about fairy tales here and rainbows and butterflies, right? But in the real world, has it broken for you guys? Be honest.
No.
Has NixOS?
Yep.
It broke once when I opened up a VM and tried to install Omarchy. For some reason, it broke my computer. It blew up.
Like
It
in the
started
videos.
Telling you
fire.
something.
Yeah, no, I never had a problem. And if there may be some issues with certain like niche packages that kind of like, they break or whatever. But there's good warning messages. They tell you what to do and stuff. And like, I don't even use unstable. Like, there's unstable packages. I don't even use them for most things. I use the stable version of 25.05. So like, it's actually kind of like the Debian in me. That's why I was telling you, like, you can really have Debian and Arch at the same time with Nix, because you can have like some of your packages on unstable and some on like, the king mode, if you call it that. And you just don't have to worry. I never have to worry about it. So, yeah.
Now I'm confused about something, because I see that people talk about home manager or whatever. So is it Nix an operating system, or is it an add-on that you can use on any other distro? Can I use Nix on Debian, or can I use part of it, or what? How does that work?
Nix is a OS, but Nix is also a programming language, and Nix is also a package manager.
Like Lisp.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's Inception, bro.
So NixOS is NixOS, which is basically just GNU Linux with like some different file system that's not FSH compliant or whatever. But then like it also has the Nix package manager built into it. And then the Nix package manager is something you can actually even use on proprietary garbage like macOS if you want. And then home manager is also something you can use on, proprietary garbage like macOS or Debian or whatever. And so you can that's agnostic to your OS, but it all is running the same stuff on the back end. So it's like, yeah, it's portable, if you will. You can call it that. But you have Brew, right? Brew is your package manager. So a lot of people use Nix for their package manager on Mac, and I don't really know too much about that because I've never experimented with it. But I know a lot of people use Home Manager. Like I know one of your favorite YouTubers, DevOps Toolbox. I think he uses Home Manager for a while.
I have watched his videos, and I end up more confused than when I started watching the video. So it's like
because he went to Home Manager and then he said, you know what, I'm going to use GNU Stow instead of Home Manager, and then same thing with the Elliot.
I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I get lost.
Should have just used Mako to store system or whatever the hell it is.
If you become a madman like Josh and me, and you embrace like the anti-pattern of making out of system store links, like you'll embrace Home Manager, I think. But
now,
Stow without Stow, bro.
Yeah.
What about the shell? What do you guys use as the shell? Do you use fish? Do you use what is it? What else is out there? Because I use ESH. What comes?
That was a jump. I love it. That's like a Bikram yoga stretch right there. We just
because I thought about it the other day, and that's something that I want to ask COVID as well. Like, what does he use as the shell? There's so many questions that I have for him, but that's something that I want to ask you guys as well. What shell do you use and why?
I use the Born Again shell.
Nice.
So that's Bash.
And you, Josh?
Zish.
Yeah.
Zish.
I'm experimenting with the new shell though, because I'm a new male, so I have to try the new shell, That went over Link's head, I think. I'll have to explain it to him later. Yeah. But I like Bash just because whenever I log into a Ubuntu or Debian server, it's going to be running Bash. So I don't want to ever like not know what I'm doing in something else. You know what I mean?
Okay. We have another super chat here. Let's see. Xode. How do you say that? Xode? Csode? VS Code? Is it VS Code? Oh, damn, Tony. That was rude on your part, man. Why did you say that? NixOS makes it hard to use your own packages you make.
I disagree.
So he's referring to, like, let's say you make your own package, like on Arch Linux, and you make like a AUR script for it to make it or whatever, right? He's saying it's harder to use on Nix, but I don't think it's harder. It's just a little bit more effort at first, and then it's easier to system lock it. Like you were saying earlier, you can ensure that it works on ARM technology and everything, like with a flake. So I don't think it's that much harder.
No, dude, flakes are sick.
I think what he's referencing though, and I'm curious, you can elaborate this. Is he talking about the file system not being compliant? Because that's probably what he's getting at.
I will say one thing is if you're close to the hardware, I have heard that Nix is a bit of a pain in the ass because of the file system settings. Now, do I have any experience with this? No.
But what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like if you're developing for like embedded stuff,
okay.
Because of the way that the file system works, somebody just said it, the file system is a pain. Then it becomes something that's a bit of the pain to kind of navigate around. I don't have any experience with that because I don't program in assembly or C. I'm trying to learn C, but I think there's a guy.
CSOD is a big C guy, so that's why he's C++. But that's why he probably said that.
There's a YouTuber Oglo the Nerd or whatever. He mentions it too. If you do anything graphics based, it becomes is it FHS compliancy?
Right.
That's the issue. Is that because files don't exist where they're supposed to in a Unix system, then you have a bunch of loopholes to jump through, etc. I don't have experience with that. I have a hard time to use it because that flashed too quick. But I think he's having a conversation with me right now about exactly this phenomenon.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned Oglo because for me, I think this should be its own episode, man. We could go hours and hours on this. But there's a cool feature called Nix VM. It's like you can open a VM on Nix so fast that you can get into an Arch or any type of FHS compliant like tool immediately, like Nix develop. Like there's so many different options to get around that. But yeah,
DistroBox.
Yeah, that could be
DistroBox. Is that the one?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
DistroBox.
I know that. Is it DistroBox? or I'm trying to think of what people have said that, because I don't have experience with this, but people have said it's a good escape hatch for when you run into that compliancy issue. Is it DistroBox? Tell us in the comments.
No, I was talking about just Nix VM, like just how quick it is to set up a VM.
Okay.
But anyway.
Now, Josh, I also want to ask you, because you weren't here before when we went around, the table with these questions, briefly, would you mind sharing your thoughts about single monitor, multiple monitors, window managers in tiling mode or one application on the screen? And what are your thoughts on widescreen monitors as well?
Emacs.
That's a good answer.
I mean, I see why people use two monitors. I used to use two monitors, one vertical, one horizontal in front of me, because you have reference material. I only use one monitor now because I have 7 workspaces that I jump through in Hyperland. But honest to God, though, I'm in Emacs 90% of the time nowadays. So
this is your quote, right? Manager. You said, if I can make it work in Emacs, I will. And if I can't, I'm going to try to make it work in Emacs.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You only need one Emacs. There you go.
Have you ever thought about Emacs, Tony? Because to be honest
I
with
use
you...
Emacs.
Oh,
I use Emacs. Yeah.
You use it a lot?
I use it a lot, yeah. Like, org mode is incredible. I have a website that I use for like create tutorials and stuff. And like when I write YouTube scripts, I use Emacs to make org mode files that'll help me like kind of organize like the script and like to do agendas and stuff. And then also like within Emacs, I can open up a shell and do whatever. Like I use Emacs a lot. I mean, I use Vim inside of Emacs because I use evil mode. So, there's this, that, and the other. But if I'm just, yeah, exactly. But if I'm just doing something like for daily driving stuff, I still use Vim, NeoVim, but for like programming. But for the YouTube stuff, I live in Emacs basically.
Oh, anything note related, you do it in Emacs.
If it's notes or like agenda stuff or anything that like any organizational requirements, stuff like that, like it's going to be done in Emacs because it's a GUI application, right? So
org mode is sick.
Yeah.
IRC.
Emacs. In Emacs, yeah, in Emacs.
Music, Emacs. Email, Emacs.
I'm not quite that level because I think I think email is a whole concept we can get into, but email is also like another one of those things that's like, that's bloat. I feel like, why do you need an email? And, to send like, what's the point of an email address? Look at CISO, dude, he's pumping.
It's pumping. Appreciate the donation, CISO. Default Emacs is all you need. I've thought about Emacs, guys, and I don't know. I feel attracted to Emacs because the people that use Emacs, the ones that I have known at least, are pretty chill. I don't know if you guys watched the interview that I did with Protesilaos. He's in Cyprus, and he's a wonderful guy. I don't know, pretty awesome guy. Joshua, pretty awesome as well, and I think the best way.
You're forgetting my uncle, man. Don't forget to give my uncle a shout out.
Oh yeah, as well.
Distro too, bro.
Yeah, he's a big Emacs user. He's pretty cool as well. And I don't know, is note taking the best? Because there's you have to find a way that is going to, make the least friction, between you and the tool. So would it be note related stuff? Org mode, is that the best way? Because I do a lot of markdown in NeoVim, right? So
yeah,
how should I start?
Can you run code? Can you run code in Markdown?
No.
You can evaluate code in org mode.
That's
dude, No, org agenda, dude, is the sickest.
It's org agenda for me, yeah. Org agenda is what makes it crazy. Sick. And I have an API script that I use to just like get my work tasks and just I pipe it into JQ, like this JSON formatter, and then I just write it into an org mode file as a to-do list, and that way I never have to open up like this stupid GUI app that my company makes me use for like tasks. I just open up Emacs every day, and I can just see all my tasks.
My to-do list is across like 25 or 30 files because I include my to-do list in like the README of projects I'm working on.
I've seen it. You document how well you slept and stuff. Like you're going insane with it, man. I'm curious about your Myers-Briggs. We could talk about it off stream though.
Autistic.
Vim is better, says Scoomer. Appreciate that donation, Scoomer.
I can't send a link, but that guy CISO wrote a guide on my website called, or the Emacs guide. I sent it in the Discord, but I can't send it on the YouTube because it's getting muted because it's a link.
Uh-huh.
I got like 5 more minutes. Just
Same here, pretty much.
Yeah.
let's do it.
Let's wrap it up. Any final words? Well, I just want to say thanks to both of you. Tony, we've been planning this for what? I don't know, for not too long, for a week. Sylvan was supposed to join. I don't know what he's
We got an
up
upgrade,
to.
dude. It's okay. We got an upgrade.
Yeah, we got an upgrade. Yeah. Appreciate you joining us, Joshua, and sharing about Emacs and all that stuff. Let's see, we have another super chat. Hold on. What does it say here? Emacs, Josh, and Tony on the list.
It's okay. I still use NeoVim and more than I use Emacs. Don't worry, man. I use both. Just like DistroTube said, I use both Vim and Emacs.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it on my side. Any final words? Any guys you wanna say to wrap it up?
You want to go first, Tony?
I was just saying thanks for setting this up, and it was awesome to talk about everything. And I really think people should just look into the funding of Omarchy before installing it and see kind of where that goes. I encourage you to do your own research and see kind of why that's being astroturfed. And that's pretty much like the main thing I have to say about all this.
That's gonna be on the highlights.
Come join me in IRC.
Tony didn't kill himself.
Yo, exactly.
What's that joke? I don't get it.
It's in a Jeffrey Epstein reference.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna come after him now that he's exposed the funding.
Yeah, look at this. CISO's pumping, dude.
Yeah,
look at this,
man.
He's a bit, dude. CISO's one of my new like he's like. I would say he's a viewer of mine, but he's just a friend, dude. He's just one of my friends at this point. We just talk all the time about C, C++, Rust, Zig. Like we're Zig Zagooners, you know what I'm saying?
All right. And what about you, Josh?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. Last minute, I was watching the stream and commenting on it. You're like, you want to join? I'm like, all right, let's do it.
on the fly,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, use Nix, use Emacs. Come join me on IRC.
And use Omarchy. Oh no,
do that.
That was not right.
Oh,
all right,
no.
guys.
How much are they paying you?
Yeah, are you getting paid for? What's going on with that?
All right,
Send me an
guys.
invoice.
Thanks for showing up. Talk to you.
Thank you.
Till the next time.
Yeah, man. All right.
Let me see if this works. Okay, so the chat can hear us. We don't know if they can hear you still, but we're gonna confirm in a little while. Let me see in Twitch.
Yo.
We have Tony there.
Hey, Tony.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yep. I'll level the audio
Linux-
right now.
Linux users are later than Mac users, except Vimothée.
Vimothée, I don't know if Vimothée even remembers that. We have the call.
Do you guys have him on Snapchat or whatever the kids are using these days?
I don't know what they use, man.
I was thinking about wearing a hat for this, but like instead I just used some hair gel to go the other way with it.
Uh-huh.
So now I look less bald. So I think we're good like this. Because when I did this interview with the Linux cast, I went like this way with it.
Uh-huh.
So I had this like, it just looked like I didn't look that good. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go the other way with it. And so now we just don't need the hat.
So you have to decide where to point it to, right? So it covers there.
So it covers the front bald spot or whatever.
Uh-huh. Why is my face so big? Okay, I'm gonna make our faces the same size because I cannot make it smaller because, yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Where is Tony? Guest.
What's going on, Henry? Nice to meet you, man.
Yes, nice to meet you in sort of person, I guess.
Yeah. It's crazy. I feel like we've talked so much.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like we've been knowing each other forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Henry's volume is a little bit low. Let's see. Ooh. Can you talk for a little while, Henry?
Yes, let's go. How's the volume?
Okay, I'm gonna fix it here. Hold on.
Yeah, should I just keep talking?
Yes, please. If you can just keep talking for a little while.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
You can read something.
What's the Declaration of Independence in Spain or Germany?
That's a very good question.
Do you guys memorize something like that in 6th grade? Like
No,
like a
I don't
historical
think so.
document? We had to do that in 6th grade. Here
Right. So can you still recite it?
We hold these, that's what I did last time. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal, that they're endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these rights are rights such as life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, etc. But the point is, like, these are all unalienable. The whole point is we learned that in 8th grade or whatever. Just like, yeah, I'm here for Tony and his rant on proprietary garbage. Dude, we already have people in the chat. Love it.
Yeah. Now,
But in Germany, did you guys learn anything like that? Like, did you guys in high school, like, did you guys learn any kind of really important historical documents like that or no?
Yes, definitely. I just can't recite them right now.
okay,
I'm
Tony,
so curious.
I'm gonna make you bigger. That's what she said. Let's see. You're a little bit to the left side, Tony. Are you able to center? Can you move your camera or it's fixed? Because if I put you in the middle there, you see what I'm talking about? A little bit more. There. I'm gonna put you right there.
That works, yeah. You can see my fake background, my home gym.
Yep.
Obviously Primeagen background type shit.
The Primeagen vibes, right?
Actually, he has a yoga ball, right? I think I got a yoga ball. Let's see if we can do it.
Now let's move to Henry. Okay.
Let's do the Primeagen yoga ball.
I know
Nice
you
one.
wanted to show off your background, Hendrik, but I'm just gonna make us
Hendrik!
the same size.
Hendrik Lamar? Did you just call him Hendrik?
It's Hendrik,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's my real name.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
They
That's
call
cool.
you Henry.
just-
Is that right?
Yeah, I just go by Henry in English because it's easier for most people to pronounce.
Hendrik Lamar?
Yeah, basically.
Hendrik Duckworth? I love it.
Now, Tony, you sound pretty good. That's because you have the same microphone as your dad, right? DistroTube.
My uncle, yeah.
Your uncle. Yeah, sorry.
He's not my dad.
He's not your dad. Who's your dad?
Yeah.
DHH?
Richard Stallman, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Or
Now,
Linus.
let's see. Is anyone on Twitter? Is any of you guys on Twitter? Because in theory, I'm also sending this to Twitter.
Why
and
do
it
you
should
always say
be-
Twitter, by the way? You mean Twitch, right? When you said that?
No, X.
Are you actually streaming to Twitter?
Yeah, X and Twitch. Yep.
Okay. I was always curious, like, why do you always say Twitter? And I thought it was a typo, like a verbal typo.
Yeah, I'm an old man. I refuse to call it X. It's nah.
No, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with dead naming Twitter or whatever, but I just didn't know, like, if you were talking about Twitch, because I only see on the screen it says you got Twitch and YouTube going.
Oh no. Yeah, it's going to Twitch and it's going to Twitter or X. Yep. Now
And Rumble and everything. You got.
let's see if did you guys share your screens as well?
I do have my screen shared. Let me see if can you see it though. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna try right
Can
now.
you see it?
But let's see. I'm gonna switch to them. So who is this? This is Tony. Okay, yeah, looks good. Looks pretty good. Now let's take a look at Hendrik's screen. Okay.
Yo,
yeah.
look at the Wes term. Yo, we got the class right there. Got some. I'm excited
Course.
for this. Look at the new T-Mux hype. Look at that super minimal debloated. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
No
yeah.
plugins. No plugins for the theme.
Well, you can use plugins, but they're not necessary to create the look.
Love it.
Okay, I think all of your audios are good. Where the hell is Sylvan?
Do you have a link to this, or can I let me just go to your channel? Hold on. I don't need you to give me a link.
It'd be funny if he started a live stream now on his channel.
That would be hilarious. What would be more funny is if he thought it was like a different time because of the same thing that I got with
Of the
the
time
user
zone.
error.
Hmm.
It is user error though.
It could be, could be. Or maybe he's taking a shower or something and he got excited.
Yeah. Well, we can just start without him and do like a little bit of a three-way segment if you want until he joins.
Yeah, that's
Or
good.
we
with
can
me.
give him some time if you want. It's your call.
Yeah, let's give him. What time is it?
3:09, or I guess it'd be 4:09 your time.
Yeah, let's wait 5 minutes. It's okay. We have chat here anyway, right?
Yeah, let me look
Let's
at the
see.
chat.
This, my screen. I hope that you guys are audible. The different scenes. This is my screen, and okay. Can you guys hear me there?
Yo, I'm gonna test 1, 2, 3. I can hear me and you on that scene.
Oh, here. What about you, Hendrik? Can you hear us?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, I think brought up your volume a little bit too high now, Hendrik. Let's see.
Okay, how's it now?
Oh, it's good. Good. But I think I brought it up here up a little bit.
Are you having a
Super
beer,
late for-
Tony?
No, it's a coffee, man. I'm not as cool as you.
Okay. I'm having water though.
Yeah, I have that too, just in case. You never know. But water, I mean, for you, it makes sense because it's like, what, 9 something, 10 p.m. or something like that out there?
No, it's like midnight for me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's baller, dude.
Yeah, I'm a bit tired, honestly, but I thought, fuck it. There's not always going to be an opportunity to do this kind of thing.
If you had
Get called
coffee
at
right
4.
now, though, you wouldn't be able to sleep, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I try to do a lot of caffeine around the afternoon, and I hope that I'll be able to sleep later, but let's see about that.
Yeah.
I might need to jump a bit earlier today, like around maybe 2 a.m. for me, like maximum 2 hours, just because otherwise I'm going to be completely fried tomorrow at work and not be able to do anything.
Oh, yeah, that's fine, man. Oh, yeah, we're live on Twitter. I just checked right now as well, and we're live. If Sylvan doesn't join, we're going to do it, the 3 of us. He can join later. I don't even know if he remembers if it's today or what, but it's fine.
I'll just ping him on Discord. I'm sure you guys already pinged him, right? I'll set you up.
It seems that he's offline.
What is going on with that niri? I don't even want to show that on stream, but what's up with that niri video you sent, bro? Where did you find that? Cornhub?
The one I sent?
Yeah, where'd you find that, man? Like, did you just search YouTube for niri and it just popped up?
Yeah, exactly. When for chat also to follow along, like before we went live, Link sent the agenda for what we're going to talk about today, some bullet points, and one of them is niri, the tiling window manager, and I had no idea what it was, so I looked it up on YouTube, and I don't know if you can share that right now, but I found a video which supposedly explains what it is, but it was kind of like an AI girl or AI woman that explains what it is, but extremely poorly without showing it with bad lip sync.
And
I have no idea where.
Everything was off, yeah.
Yeah, like who makes these videos? Who benefits from this?
I don't know, but I feel like if the marketing for that was supposed to be going for that, we could just hire an actress, right? I mean, I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
But our AI overlords.
Let's see.
I think we're on to nothing.
Take a look at this, guys. This is something that I've been working on today.
Okay, you're back into the workflow engineer hype.
Yeah. Loading
It
windows.
just never ends.
It just
The
never
rabbit hole.
ends, man. It's just it never freaking ends.
Do you have COVID on speed dial, or like every time he updates, like do you get RSS feed when he makes an update to Kitty, and then you just get the latest in a snap or a flat pack?
The only thing that I was concerned or interested in was sessions, and he just sent me an email. But other than that, I don't keep track of what other features Ghosty has, you know.